The Invisible War.
Yes. There's the main reason why I definitely brought you here, Sahil. I need someone to play, not necessarily be devil's advocate, but to kind of be, um, what was that? Was that my wife's phone? All right. Anyway, we are live, and there's some things we want to talk about. So, Sahil and the rest of you guys, remember the time when we had a stream called the Invisible War, and we was talking about Billy Mitchell, and we had
Mm-hmm.
a lady who was a um, how can I say this? Very yeah, she was just a little bit rough on the edges, and I called it an invisible war. And I was trying to explain to everyone the reason why it's called the invisible war is because there's something going on in esports history where there are forces marshaled at trying to strip away the actual historical context behind the form how competitive gaming got turned into a sport. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why you said it like that? Yeah, like why
No,
you
I
call?
remember.
Oh,
No,
okay,
I'm doing something. That's it. But yeah, I remember.
okay. So the invisible war is actually far wider than you think. It's not just in the classic gaming community. It's also in the fighting game community. It's in also in certain areas of um. One second, I'm typing to it's also in like certain areas of the FPS community, and it is definitely of recent in Empire Arcadia directly, and that's what I wanted to have this long-winded stream about because we're going to be here for a while. I want to cover like all three topics. I think it's going to take about 2 hours. And we picked a game that would be appropriate for this because it's called the Invisible War. So we picked a war game, and that's pretty much Fortnite right now. So, yeah, there go Jerry on hands peeling money out to everybody. So, in any event, right? And yes, I will be taking questions from this YouTube stream as well. Don't think that you guys can't stream here. For the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be streaming, promoting everyone to go to our new social media platform. It's Empire Arcadia's premier social media platform called Hashtag. So we want you guys to go there because we're going to be doing a lot of content and stuff like that. And we hope you guys can go there to find out more information on how you can sign up to Hashtag. Look in the description. You'll see the link there, and you could definitely sign up to Hashtag right there and then. In fact, I'll throw this Hashtag link on the stream as well. Wait a minute. It's not popping up. How? That doesn't make a
Maybe
difference. It's not popping
it
up.
needs a slash at the end. Is that the one? The group?
Yes, it's not, it's in the it's in the description, but I'm supposed to have it right here. I don't know why it's not playing. I guess it doesn't. The link doesn't come over the
So wait,
stream.
you want the
It needs a
hashtag group
slash at
link?
the end. The group
No, no, no. I
name
have the
does.
link, guys. I have the link. It just with the way I have it set up in my OBS, it's supposed to appear over the Fortnite stream, but apparently it is
Oh.
not.
Do you want me to post it in chat?
Yeah, you can post it in chat, but it's all
The
it's
group link, right?
yeah, the group link, and actually they should go before they even go to the group they should actually sign up for it by using my link, which is there in the description where it says the EMP link. It's the first link, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
sent
the
up a
group link. They
message to
can't get to the
you.
group link unless they sign up first. And in order for our sponsors to know that we're directing people to our social media platform, you see where it says hashtag.com/s equal empire EMP, they gotta click that. And then they can click when they click the other two links, it's auto join. So depending someone asked Triforce, are you going to E3? That depends on my sponsor Hashtag, and that depends on the work that I do for them. So you guys can help me by signing up to Hashtag when you make an account there, right? This shows our sponsor that we're doing work and helping to populate their social media website. More importantly, it's not about just like like some people go, oh man, they're selling out or whatever. It ain't even about that, B. It's about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Hashtag wants to create a social media platform in which gamers can just bill out for themselves. Not something that they bill out. Just like, here, guys, this is a platform for you. Do your thing there. So we're trying to bring people there and whatnot. But I don't want to make the stream about, it's like, oh, did he bring us in here to promote Hashtag? I want to focus on the topic at hand, which is the Invisible War. So, as you guys already know, when it regards to like what's going on, there are forces out there, Marshall, that erasing the actual history of where competitive gaming came from, the people involved in it, the people that did the work in it, and the whole 9 yards. And literally like, get rid of this person, get rid of that organization, get rid of this, get rid of that. Before we get into the classic gaming scene and before we even get to what happened in the fighting game community over the weekend, let me talk about EMP. So the Discord can answer by voice, but I want you guys, by a show of numbers and buttons, right? Press 1 if you guys have seen the Score eSports YouTube video about the history of Justin Wong.
Yes. Everyone, not all at once now.
I'm talking about the people in
Anyone
the
else
YouTube.
here or what?
Why is King Joker not a mod?
I don't know. Why isn't he? That makes sense.
That doesn't make any
Where, on
sense.
Discord? Oh.
Oh, good. You
Oh,
aren't
look,
banned
Robin's in
anymore.
the house. Sales in the house.
Okay. Just in case, let me go check something for you guys, right? I'm going to check something for you guys. What's the name of this thing
as
here?
you can see, I put anyone wonder.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right. This is nuts, 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 nuts. It is so nuts. It just doesn't even make any sense.
What happened?
All right, I gotta show you something. I'm glad we're talking about EMP. I'm glad we're on this topic right now. Wait a minute. No, it's not that they took it down. It's not that they took it down.
Well,
wait a minute. I don't see it.
I seen him. He was adding them, and they're like, "Hey, you need to contact me right now. You used my video, and you didn't get my permission, and you credited a stolen re-upload. Like, contact me right now. Enter your DMs and all this shit."
Yeah, I seen that. Okay, wow. Justin's story, the story of Justin is gone.
They took it down?
Yep, they took it down. It's not there. It's gone.
Pussy.
Whoa, no, that's got nothing to do with them, that being this. That's crazy. You just went and said, no, that's got nothing to do with it.
As soon as your guy from MLG started calling him up about lawyers, they just deleted
Not
it.
MLG, MLB.
MLB.
Yeah. All right. Now, see, these are called the stories of. So these are the stories of all. Now, you know what I don't like about this? I have a problem with this. I have a big problem with this. Right? What I don't like about this is that Justin suffers from this.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? His story is not being told.
The thing is, though, Triforce.
Yeah.
It was for the life of the video, for how long it stays in the algorithm and shit. It outlived its fucking potential. It got way more than it lived its potential. It got everyone who's seen it. The majority have seen it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
let's say when it got deleted, it got 30,000 views. No, 300,000 views. If they left that video up for a year, it would have only got another 50K views. Yeah. The majority of the views came at the beginning.
Maybe more, but like.
All right. So the story was already told. It just can't be archived or be used. Now I'm going to show you guys, and for those who are wondering in the room, this is all about the Invisible War, right? So for people that I want you guys to click this link, I put it in the YouTube chat. Click that link. I want you to look at the pictures of the championships Justin won. 2001, 2002, 2003,
It says it's
2004.
not safe and it's a virus.
Hmm?
Nah, I'm just joking.
No, it's not raining at my place. That's the fans, guys. That's the fans. Look at Justin's shirt.
EMP.
Mm-hmm.
That's old school, man.
Now,
Holy fuck.
this is what I find funny. The same people who put up the video, right? The same people who put up the video about Justin Wong, because they have iconic moments in esports history, right? The Daigo Perry has Justin in it, and iconic mode, Justin Wong's marvelous comeback, FGC, right? This is the thing that I don't like, right? In the film, they made a film called The History of Justin Wong. In the film, guys, they completely omit the fact that he's a part of EMP. Like, literally, they started him off in 2001 all the way up to 2010. And in that time, they were like, Justin Wong. They never mentioned EMP. They used footage from the King of Chinatown, because that footage is footage based off of what myself and Calvin Theobald has done to kind of chronicleize Justin's rise in the esports realm, especially in the FGC. But that's the only good real footage you could actually use that really brought Justin into light like that. But they didn't credit the producer, nor the director, nor me. Sadly, on top of it, I'm in the footage. Me personally, I'm in the footage sitting next to Justin while Justin's practicing in my gaming house. But they completely omit us. They don't mention EMP, they don't mention me. It's just image of me. Now, I'm not gonna, there is no way the Score Esports could have been ignorant to say, who's that guy Justin's next to? They know where they got the footage from. They know they had to have watched the movie or a significant part of the movie to say, we want to use that clip. Whether they got it from the original movie source or not, that's irrelevant. They had to. The Score Esports is not stupid enough to just go on YouTube. Look at this footage. You know something? What's this? Click. No, I don't care about the story. I don't care what's going on. I'm just going to use this image. No. They had to have done the research. And to have done...
Bro,
Huh?
to be fair, I'd say they just found it. It was the only copy of the video. These days, there's a lot of like little guys making pretty high quality, high production value, little documentaries, and they figure this could have came from that. They didn't do their due diligence. They just assumed it was his, grabbed it, put his name in it, and that was it. I don't think they knew, bro.
But there were other people in the footage. You would at least go, who's this person? And
also, if you watch the Score Esports videos and other competitive players, right? If a competitive player was on one team and then left to the other, they mention that. They don't just show footage of him on his current team. They maybe not only, because I've only seen 2 other videos from the Score Esports on this topic. But so far, from the 3 I've seen, only this one handled the teams in that way.
Yes, only in Justin's video was Empire Arcadia completely omitted. And you know something? I don't blame the Score Esports for this. Score Esports was counseled and advised by other people to omit us. I am not going to sit there, because I don't think that they actually had a reason to just say they're going to do that. Hold on, Shark Tank donated.
Let's
basically,
try for
hold on. We got a donation. He says, so basically, Justin Wong, and please excuse my wording, screwed EMP over in the video. No, it has nothing to do with Justin Wong. Justin Wong, he does not produce the film. All he did, Texas Made 713, thank you for joining us. All that happened, Justin just provided them information about his career growing up. You have to remember, it is the director's job to direct where the film is. Justin has nothing to do with it. I know some of you guys may not like him, but do not blame him for this. The actors in any film, you do not blame them. You blame the director. And you blame whoever the directors got their information from. And I know who told them, don't include Empire Arcadia in it.
Echo Fox?
No, I don't think it was Echo Fox. I don't see, why would Echo Fox care? I don't think Echo Fox
has control over.
Well, the actual person's in the film, and the actual person said He
What
carefully
film? King of Chinatown?
no.
Or
In the video
this
that
new
they
one?
deleted now, in the video that they took
Oh.
down, which I think is that I think YouTube removed the video. I think
No,
YouTube.
I think they took it down after being contacted by the shit from Twitter.
Oh well, perhaps. So in any event, someone in the very same video said it wasn't until 2010 where Justin joined an actual reputable esports team. I was like, what? When he
Whoa.
said that was in the video, so I was like, alright. I said, now I see why they took it out.
Why didn't he just say he was a part of some minor clans coming up? Like he went. That's going out of his way to.
Here
make it
is the
big,
problem: if you mention EMP in any way, shape, or form, the majority of Justin's legacy as an esports player comes out of EMP. You will give credit to EMP, and they don't want to do that, so they would rather just omit it. Period. That's why this is called the Invisible War. It's about erasing history so they can rewrite it. Look at for those who saw the show for those who saw the show for the short period of 3 weeks that it was out. If you look at it, I saw the Armada one. They couldn't deny that. Wait a minute, Robin. They mentioned Armada as EMP. I never watched the Armada one, to be very honest with you. I always told myself I'm going to watch the Armada one. Do they credit Armada for being an EMP, Robin? Answer that when you can. But, oh, wow, they do. So, but that doesn't make any sense. So you'll credit Armada for being an Oh, no, they couldn't. They didn't have a choice. Because Armada played at MLG with Mewtwo King, and he fought against Mango in the finals. And it was a big tournament, and he had the EMP shirt on and everything that said EMP Armada, so they could not have denied it.
There's a guy named Justin Wong who's a VP in community and social at Twitch. He's a startup investor and advisor. Like, what the fuck?
We're not talking about that, though. That's a different Justin
I know,
Wong.
that's weird. Obviously.
There's a lot of Justin Wongs, believe it or not. Google them, and you'll see. There's a lot of Justin Wongs. But in any event, okay, so Robin says they couldn't deny Armada on the thing. But the problem here is this, right? Because of you have to understand Justin's legacy versus Armada's legacy. Justin is considered to be the greatest fighting game player of all time. He has won more EVO championships than any other player ever. Yeah. He has won more fighting games than any other player ever. And the majority, 90% of his victories came under EMP. Literally, 25% of EMP's victories on the Guinness Book of World Record as the most documented video game tournament winning team ever is from Justin. But you see the problem. If you give Justin that credit and put EMP behind it, it helps us. And there are forces that want EMP to die.
Of course. I got the URL for that video. It says the story of Justin Wong, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. This video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by Psycho Crusher Productions.
They got him. The movie got him. The movie got him. So what they're going to do is, they're going to have to take the movie down. Well, the movie's gone. That means YouTube was fair. Well, actually, they didn't know that the guy who made the movie.
They contacted him. They wouldn't take it down, so he's like, fuck it. I'm fucking striking him.
No. Well, here's the thing. The Psycho Crusher's production flagged the video regardless. The problem here is this, that they didn't know what happened to the producer of Psycho Crusher Films. The producer went on to work for Major League Baseball as a producer. So if they thought he was just some little guy who made a little film, no, the guy moved on to bigger things. So trust me, it's nothing for him to go tell Major League Baseball, help me out with a lawsuit here. And I'm sure they must have talked to them and it's like, you got to take it down. This happened to them. I'm telling you right now, this happened to them because they were not being fair. Had they simply just said, we're going to credit the history or whatever. Because you know, so funny, the reason why this reached to Psycho Crusher Productions, because they didn't add Justin Wong's legacy in EMP. I think that's major reason why. This had to have gotten back to them. It just had to. I think if they mentioned EMP, they could have gotten under the radar. The only thing that probably would have came up was, where did you get that content and that footage from? They got it from this X, Y, and Z, and they would have just changed it. to Psycho Crusher Productions. Or I could have been in their pocket and say, let me talk to Calvin for you guys. Calvin, let it rock. And Calvin probably would have been like, you sure, Triforce? Yeah, let it rock. Because I actually have a stake in the King of Chinatown film. I own 33% of it. Something a lot of people don't know. So I could have just let him rock. But no, what they did was deliberate. They omitted him. They omit him, but they don't omit Armada. When Armada has a smaller history in Empire Arcadia versus Justin's long, major history in EMP. So when people go, it's the record's gonna go out is that Triforce went and attacked the film and got it struck. Watch. Watch. They're gonna be like, Triforce attacked the film and got it struck. It's so stupid. Hanging in there, Robin. Oh, what's going on? All right, so these guys don't like the fact that esports actually has a long-standing history, long before League of Legends, long before Overwatch, long before Call of Duty, long before any of these new games that you're seeing coming out. These guys want to create a history of esports based on the last 5 to 8 years. 2010 is when they want to say esports started, and it's like, no, that's not true. And no matter what you do, you cannot erase that history. And here's the reason why. Those legacies, something I wrote on my wall on Facebook. Let me read it to you guys. Read it to you guys on my Facebook wall, right? Here it is. If you're wondering how is it that I knew exactly what was going to happen to esports scene, culture, history, or to the esports scene, culture, history, and industry, more importantly, the FGC and the classic arcade game community, there is only one word that you all need to know and understand. When you understand this word, then all will be revealed to you. There is no hocus pocus conspiracy theory or Nostradamus effect to understand the simple truth behind it all. This word is IP, intellectual property. The grassroots gaming community that date back to the origins of esports via Twin Galaxies have long since ignored this factor. The players are intellectual properties and they command the market. However, the games themselves are intellectual properties as well and control the market. He who controls them both wins the game. That's how esports is. And right now there is a rift, there is a divide in the esports realm, universe or whatever, where you have guys trying to, the new suits who have the money are trying to buy their way into esports and establish their brands of esports. The brands of esports need to be established on history. It cannot be established on the games because the video game companies own the games. And if you try to establish your esports brand based on the video game companies, you gotta pay them for that. And that's if the video game companies decide to say, yeah, you can rock with it. So it's a fight to see who can control two. Riot Gaming is one of the very few entities out there that actually have a lock on them both. They own their games and they own the teams and the franchise and the players and etc. etc. That's why the LCS is so massive. Hold on, we got the donation. Let's be real here. Jace Hall, okay, said this: the Score Esports, not to mention. That's why Armada's video mentioned you and not Justin. That's assertion, and we're not gonna go with what's the word for you? That would be rumorville and assumptions. I don't do those things, guys. I don't care who it is. I don't do that. We don't know who it is. You cannot sit here and say it's Jace Hall. You don't know that because I saw other enemies and stuff like that to EMP in the video that are more suitable for the task than Jace Hall. Like, Jace Hall doesn't care about Empire. First of all, like, in a sense, it's kind of disrespecting him because if I was Jace Hall and I looked at EMP, I'd be like, I'm like, okay, I have Sonic Fox, I have Justin, I have Mewtwo King, I have Tokido, I have JDCR. I won't care about Empire. I'd be like, the Empire would never be on the radar, not in my mind. I wouldn't care. It would be nothing. I wouldn't care what they want to mention about the past of EMP. So no, Jace Hall, I severely doubt. I'm not saying nothing's impossible, but I severely doubt it has anything to do with Jace Hall. I know who it is because the person in the film said it himself. He gave the clue, and I was like, oh, it is you. Someone from FGC who doesn't like me. And told people Justin has never been on a reputable fighting game team until he joined Evil Genius. And that's why the film reflected that. Which is, it's kind of funny because the Score Esports here has a picture of Justin and Yipes both wearing Empire Arcadia shirts for the most iconic moment in esports history. Now, don't y'all think that's kind of stupid? Like,
well, who decides who's reputable and who's not? Like, just say what teams they're involved in with.
That's what the Invisible War is about. The suits who are investing in the scene want to determine what is official and what is not, because they have the money to buy what is official, and to the victory goes the spoils, and he who writes the history. And
the victor.
To the victor. Okay. So, and in esports, the victor is just whoever has the most money, or whoever has money. So, EMP at some point in time in the next year or two, by 2020, we need to have enough money to secure our legacy in esports, or we will literally be wiped out from it. EMP is not invincible to the fact. This is why I go hard on our YouTube page, because I want to be able to chronicleize and document our history. But then guess what? People attack our page. Yes! They want to strike our YouTube page down so they can remove the history. Yeah! That strategy is so corny and so, oh, I can see that coming. No, that's why people go, you know, and they're so direct about it. Have you guys seen? Let's move on to another. We're done with the Empire Arcadia. The erasing of the Empire Arcadia history, which they're not doing a great job about it. Let's go to the classic arcade community, right? Oh my goodness! After Todd Rogers' record was removed, so we spoke to Jace Hall did a stream tonight, right? CEO of eSports team Echo Fox, and also head chairman of Twin Galaxies, did a stream tonight, going over the Billy Mitchell dispute, right? And he recently removed one of our players from Empire Arcadia from Twin Galaxies, and a lot of people was under the impression that Jace Hall removed Todd Rogers because he was a flat-out cheater, etc., 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 right? And Jace Hall actually explained in details why Todd Rogers was actually removed from the Twin Galaxies database completely. Let me go over this thoroughly. So Jace Hall said they could not, based on today's technology with the system provided to them, there is no way for them to be able to get the 551. And that's not to say that he didn't get a 551 back when he did it. But there's no way for Jace Hall to provide a platform where everyone who wants to compete for that score to get a fair way to get a 551. I'm like, you know something? That's fair. So he had it removed from Twin Galaxies. Because Twin Galaxies is partnered with Guinness and they have to work together with the same records, Guinness then had to retract the world record from Todd Rogers. Completely understandable. As to why all of Todd Rogers' other scores were erased is because Todd Rogers broke a rule that predates Jace Hall's acquisition of Twin Galaxies. No one is allowed to enter their own score into the Twin Galaxies database, and Todd Rogers has been on record for entering the scores into the Twin Galaxies database. Although, albeit that there's a story behind it, and Todd Rogers was trying to get his scores in, and they took so long, and because he was a referee, he asked the head ref at the time, can he put his score in? And they said, yeah, whatever, but they still broke the rule. Just because they gave you permission doesn't mean that's you're following the rules and the guideline. The rules say you cannot do it. So that on top of Robert Mirzak, the ex-head ref of Twin Galaxies, went on to then testify against Todd Rogers that he himself, the ex-ref, inputted false scores for Todd Rogers. So Twin Galaxies did not want to scrub through all 1,000 of Todd's records or whatever amount of records was in there to find out which one is real and which one was not. So they just got rid of all of them. So that's why Todd Rogers' records was completely removed from the database. It has nothing to do with his dragster. The dragster record being removed and all of his records being removed from Twin Galaxies are two separate instances, but the verdict was made at the same time on both of them because they were just dealing with Todd Rogers then and there.
Triforce, can I say something real quick?
Jump in, please.
This whole that thing specifically about how because they couldn't go through thousands and thousands of records, they just removed them all. And then you have all these videos of people going Todd Rogers over 1,000 records proven to have been cheated. It's like BuzzFeed tier shit. Like, people always complain about BuzzFeed and stuff, saying, oh, titles are clickbait, titles are bad, they lie to you, blah, blah, blah. But these guys are doing the exact same thing, but nobody calls them out on it. Everybody's just like, yeah, okay. They just want to hear what they want to hear.
Well, each entity that we talk about in this invisible war has their own circumstance behind it. Honestly, I try not to get into the details or pick on people specifically and be like, oh well, this guy did. I try not to do that. I really do. I just think it's not fair to even do that. So in my opinion,
well, it's not fair of them to say what they say about Todd Rogers, but they do it anyway.
that is an unfortunate thing, but it is what it is. Empire Cater just so happens to be in a situation where that it's a bad look on us as a team, and that's just the reality. We just gotta eat that. We gotta hold that. B. There's nothing else to it. To be very honest with you, nothing else to it. Twin Galaxies have to do what they have to do for their organization. Guinness has to do what they have to do for their organizations. And Empire Arcadia was put into a situation where we just got that. That's the verdict that they came down with. EMP is going to accept the verdict. Do I respect the verdict or how they came about it? No, I think they were very sloppy in their investigation. But that's what they're doing to clean up the Twin Galaxies database, and I have to respect the fact that they want to clean up the Twin Galaxies database. The reason why I don't respect the way they went about it is because there are a few things that are not mentioned. When Twin Galaxies was taken over by Jace Hall said he wanted to give everybody a clean slate. Any transgressions done in the past, before his administration took over, Twin Galaxies would allow people to, what's the word for this? To
pardon it. But
then wouldn't
Todd Rogers Todd Rogers' transgression with putting scores himself?
That's why I didn't.
That?
That's why I did not respect the way it came out, because Todd Rogers was not pardoned. And I just felt that was just not fair, because there's a guy called Rudy J. Ferretti who was lifetime banned for Twin Galaxies.
Correction, Triforce. There was a man named Rudy J. Ferretti.
Oh, okay. There was a player called... No, because he's alive still. But I don't want to give the wrong impression. People think he's dead. There was a player named Rudy Ferretti who was a part of Twin Galaxy who got lifetime ban due to issues with the former administration of Twin Galaxies, right? Hey, Tipster, what's going on? I'm glad you're in here. You should get on our Discord, because I would like to have a second opinion on what's going on and stuff like that. Wait a minute. Let me see something. Or would you like to chime in on via Skype? Tipster's inside the room, guys. Tipster. Because Tipster has a certain look at Twin Galaxies, and one of his videos that he had about Todd Rogers, he brought up a very important point that a lot of people skipped over when I mentioned it. Yeah.
Let him join the Discord and give him temporary roles and get him in here.
I asked him, I said, join our Discord, or would he like to talk via Skype? Because I want to hear he has some opinions about Twin Galaxies and how they handle certain things. One of the things he brought up, he says he doesn't think Todd Rogers could have done all of that by himself. And he's correct on that. 100% correct on that, right? And one of the things that I don't understand is how can a former head ref input scores for somebody that's actually not official, and then the head ref remain in Twin Galaxies, as a member in Twin Galaxies and not be banned like Todd Rogers. Like the guy is complicit in the guy's an accomplice to the actual crime, but only the other person gets caught. Get out of here! What is that? Like, oh, so you as a head ref, you were given the most responsibility to keep the scoreboard pure, which is one of the reasons why. What's the guy's name? Is one of the reasons why Walter Day had a big outing with Robert Merzak. The former owner and founder of Twin Galaxies, had a outing between Robert Merzak and him, which led to Robert Merzak a couple of things resigning from Twin Galaxies. He has his reasons and stuff like that. I don't know the details. I just know that him and Walter there was a big thing between him and Walter, and he ended up leaving. I don't know the exact reasons. I'm not going to comment on it, but just know that the head of Twin Galaxies and the founder of Twin Galaxies didn't see eye to eye with its head ref for whatever reasons. Let them divulge what the reasons is. But the point I'm trying to make is, as the head ref, your job outside of the founder is to make sure you're the ref. Your job is to make sure no cheating goes on, and you go on and admit on Twin Galaxies that you fudged false records in for a player because he's your friend. Why is this guy still in Twin Galaxies? Stuff like that makes me mad. I would understand if he had said that and go, okay, Todd, you're done. Oh, and thank you, Robert Merzak, but you're done too. Like, how do you keep one? Like, that's crazy. That doesn't make.
Well, I thought Robert Merzak wasn't working in Twin Galaxies anymore.
No,
he's still there.
No, he doesn't work for Twin Galaxies.
Tipster's in the Discord. He needs roles to
someone give him a role so he can join this room.
Give him live stream access. Somebody. I'm not a mod, so I can't.
Neither, so I can't.
Triforce, you can. You have all privileges.
Give me 1 second, guys. Where's Tipster? Someone type his name inside the thing so I can see him, so I can give him the roles. Just type his name in.
Should be.
Keen is typing.
Okay.
What's his Discord name though?
Yeah, what is his Discord name? We can't see him.
I guess it's Tipster or Geeky Tipster or something.
Is he a Commonwealth member or
Tipster?
Is he?
No.
It's not Tatter, is it? I'm looking in Commonwealth members. None. I don't see anything. Nobility members. I don't see anyone.
Is Tatter like
he's
Tater?
in the role request place.
Where do you go to role requests? I don't know where that is at.
No, you have to be a mod. You're not a mod.
Is that it? Is that him, Tater?
No, that's not him. Oh, you have to be a mod? Oh my goodness, and our mods are playing games right now.
Right.
Where's Cat?
You should be a mod, bro.
In the Splatoon.
I mean,
Oh my goodness,
I
I'm gonna give myself the
somebody
role.
didn't
I'm gonna
remove
give
my
myself
mod.
the role.
Yeah.
Roles. Where's moderator? You have to be a mod to do that, right? I'll give myself moderator and guardian. All right, so good. All right, bam. Because I can give myself roles. So where is this now? There's a room
You know
called.
who Game Sensei is, Triforce?
Yeah, that's EMP Aztec. That's the EMP member. We have a donation of another $1 from Mr. Unlucky. Been wanting to support you for a while, so here. Thank you, Mr. Unlucky. We appreciate your donation. And stay in for the room for the talk. Oh, we are $2.99, guys. All right, so wait. Where's this? What's the name of the room I'm looking for again?
Damn it! It should be
Roll something. Roll
request or Commonwealth request or damn.
I'm looking through all the rooms.
Status request or roll
Status
request.
I see. This is status requests. All right, I'm clicking it. All right, so let me scroll all the way down. He should be the new guy here. Tipster, there he is. Okay, give him a roll. What's the room that we're in? Stream plus 18. What do you need to get into that room?
Live stream. Give him
live stream access.
Live stream access.
And
give him Commonwealth if he doesn't have it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Tipster, you can join the stream room 8 plus 18. All right, so he'll be in the room shortly. So going back to the whole thing regarding Twin Galaxies now, I just find that funny that how Robert Merzak can admit that he fudged false records. Because here's a question I have to say now. How many other false records have Robert Merzak fudged? And he's the head ref! Now, is he working for Twin Galaxies? No, but he's still in the Twin Galaxies database. He's still in the Twin Galaxies database. How? What I'm watching here, Zuru ran out. Why did Zuru run out, B?
Yeah, I don't know. He has no bullets. He only has one bullet in a sniper, and his M4 is empty, so he's probably looking for bullets.
Oh, that's why he ran. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
We have another donation coming in. All right, sorry, I just have to push it to 300 here. I hate odd numbers. Thanks, Mr. Unlucky.
Hey, what's
All
up,
right.
guys?
Oh, there we go. There goes Tipster. So, all right. So you obviously know what this conversation is about. We're going to be on here for about 2 hours to talk about a very what's the word for this? A topic a lot of people won't like. It is the reason why controversial. Thank you. It's the reason why I'm defending the old guard. Is because I understand the purpose behind the attacks of the old guard. Is the old guard innocent? No. Is anyone innocent? No. Like, come on. Like, everybody does wrong, but the method of what they're attacking about and all this other stuff is not what people think it is, and that's my whole problem with
You should clarify what you mean by that, because that could be soundbited fucked up what you just said.
Yeah, maybe clarify it a little bit because I haven't been watching very long.
Okay, so there's this stream that we're doing is called the Invisible War. What the Invisible War is I'm not going to mention no names. I don't want to present any slander, but there are forces in the competitive gaming universe, or what we'll just call it eSports, in the eSports scene, that are marshaled at obscuring, erasing, and changing the history of how esports started and the people who have the massive influence on it. You'll start to see later on, there's a list. I don't know if you know about this list. Do you know about the list in Twin Galaxies that all the people that they're trying to get banned and all their records removed from Twin Galaxies? Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not aware of any of this, to be completely honest now.
Okay, on the side after the stream, I'll give you the list. And the reason why I'm giving you the list is not for you to believe. It's just for you to look at. So when you start seeing the next dispute that comes up and the next dispute, you're going to wait a minute. Why is these disputes following this list? And then you're like, is Triforce true on this? And you'll see what I'm talking about. Then according to them, they said I'm next. I like The Rock, I'm like, just bring it. They must think I came out of the Twin Galaxies era. No, I may be old enough to have played in the Twin Galaxies era, but I don't come from the Twin Galaxies era. Well, I don't come from Twin Galaxies, period. My start in competitive gaming is different from theirs. But I have a couple of records in there, and they must think that because I went into the Hall of Fame or because I have Guinness records, that's where I want to whatever. But it's
Preserve
whatever.
your legacy.
Preserve my legacy, but it's whatever. I want them to come because when they come to attack me, I will surgically re-attack the scene. And when I say attack the scene surgically, because you have to be careful of how you counter-attack or defend yourself, because you can end up hurting the very same scene you're trying to preserve. And some gamers don't understand this. And in the realm of Twin Galaxies, people are attacking Todd Rogers, and they've effectively wiped out his entire legacy. Now, let's be realistic here, Tipster. Do you believe that Todd Rogers cheated on all of his records?
No, I don't necessarily believe he cheated on all of them, but there's definitely some questionable things there, sure.
Of course, and there's nothing wrong with that. Todd's on my team, and even I'm like, yeah, there's some questionable stuff in there. Jace Hall and the new Twin Galaxies administration created something called the, oh my goodness, the clean slate. All transgressions of the old Twin Galaxies were forgiven, and you would not be penalized unless you do something new. Far worse, prior to that, Walter Day made a conservative effort to try to purge the old database and get out a lot of false records he knew there was in there. That's why he hired senior refs and so forth. It was their job to actually get some of these bad records out of there. You think the disputes that are coming up is something new? This is old stuff. People's been talking about these things about Billy Mitchell, Todd Rogers, and many other gamers for a long time. But the old administration wasn't structured enough to take care of that. And Jace Hall, when he got Twin Galaxies, said he's going to build an infrastructure that would clean up the database. But because he's new and he doesn't know all of the nuances and all of the background stories, and he doesn't want to get into the fights, he's not looking to get into it. He's going to provide everyone with a clean slate, create a dispute system. They would find false records, remove them from the database, whatever the case may be. But if you look at what happened to Todd Rogers, he was never getting a clean. It's one thing to say, okay, Todd, listen, due to XYZ, ABC, we're going to have to remove all your stores from your database. You'll have to... Todd Rogers complied with Twin Galaxies. He provided information to them. He went on the Ben Hex show. He did everything in compliance to Twin Galaxies. Yet, now he's not even allowed to submit any scores now. So you wipe out his legacy and you can't... And one second, I got to remove someone from the room.
Oh, my bad.
Thank you,
I
Sahil. Mute your mic. Oh.
Okay.
So, yes. Can you add me to the Commonwealth? Well, hold on. Time out. Give me a second, Tipster.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I'm trying to look for EMP Aztec. Where is he? I don't see you in Discord, Rudy. You have to get into the Discord, and you have those statuses. You should be in the room already.
Are you looking for Aztec Warrior?
Yeah, Aztec Warrior.
I added him in Community Hall.
Well, can you look to see if he has live stream? I don't see him.
No, he doesn't have live stream access.
Okay, let me see. I'll give him live stream access. Roll, give me... All right, good. You have live stream access now. You can join in the room. So, the thing here is that Todd was never given that, and effectively Todd's legacy's been completely wiped out. Now, it's fine. That's not Twin Galaxy's problem. That's my problem. My job is to try to restore Todd Rogers. I've seen Todd Rogers play video games. Todd Rogers is not this dubious fraud person that everyone makes him out to be. He isn't. But he needs whatever has happened to him has happened to him. We just have to take the punches as rolling, as it is, and that's why I'm defending him. We want to try to rehabilitate Todd's legacy, or simply make a new one for him. And if we can't, well, at least we tried. At least we did our thing as a team to help support one of our team members, because we don't abandon our team members. No one is perfect, and if Todd Rogers has made a mistake and this is what's happened to him, not a problem. Our job is to help lift up our players. That's our job. And some people are what's the word for this, against our team because we're trying to help lift up our players. That in itself is just stupid, and I don't understand why people are trying to penalize us for doing that. But getting to Billy's situation now. Billy's situation, Tipster, has nothing to do with Billy's score. I know for a fact Billy played on arcade, but the evidence that's being mounted against Billy Mitchell is literally circumstantial and against him. Billy Mitchell was the only person back in that day to record his games the way he recorded his games. And unfortunately, because the way his games are recorded versus today's technology and how people are recording their games, they're taking frames and they're looking at the situation and they're like, oh well, if you look at Billy's games, right, and so forth, his game loads like MAME. First of all, how come no one has contacted the MAME community and asked the MAME community? Okay, yes, I will, Sahil. I'm paraphrasing, so when I'm finished, Tipster will have the floor and he can comment on all the stuff that I talked about, so I don't have to interrupt him. Because Billy is an isolated situation, and some of us know Billy actually played in the arcade. It has gone from his 1.6 million point score being MAME to Billy spliced his games together, right? He never played any of his Donkey Kong scores on arcade. He's never played any of them live. They're all spliced recordings. All of his scores should be removed from the... Like they literally told Jace Hall in the stream Jace Hall did on Twin Galaxies today. They should remove all of Billy Mitchell's records from Twin Galaxies and ban him. Because his game appears to be like MAME. What if Billy was playing on an arcade that the arcade person that had it on MAME and Billy wasn't aware? Should he lose his entire legacy because he did not know he was playing MAME? Is this where we're at? I'm gonna give you the floor so you can comment on some of the stuff that I comment.
All right, so I'm going to do my best to address everything you mentioned. You covered a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, so
Sorry about
if I miss anything, be sure to let me know.
All right.
So I guess in regards to, you kind of touched on Todd Rogers' situation. In regards to Todd, I think that the right call was made personally, in my opinion, in regards to like removing all his scores and stuff, because there were so many inconsistencies and issues with him entering his own scores and stuff like that, that I think that, in my opinion, making the decision to pull all his scores was probably the right choice. I know it kind of seems like scorched earth or whatnot, and that's kind of, it seems like insanely drastic, but there were so many what ifs in that case. It's like how do you properly handle that situation?
That's what Jace Hall said, and I actually agree with both of you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my opinion on Todd. Like, I've been in communication with Todd in private, actually, and I promised him I wouldn't say anything that we've talked about. But one thing I have told him that you guys might be surprised about, because I know people look at my videos and they think that I've got some kind of vendetta against Twin Galaxies, or I hate Todd Rogers, or I hate Billy Mitchell, and that's simply not the case. It's just a guy who finds topics he finds interesting, finds interesting on the internet, and then I comment on them. So in the case of Todd Rogers, I've communicated with him that I think that there are some things that were used against him where I kind of feel like he was kind of used as sort of a sacrifice for the community, where it's like they want to put on this persona like, hey, we're trying to clean things up. And, Todd Rogers, yes, he's a big player, but he's not as big as Billy. So we'll kind of use this person as a sacrifice to kind of give this impression that, hey, we're trying to clean up the community. I don't have any insight to say that that's exactly what's going on, but I think it's a possibility. So that's kind of my stance on Todd. In regards to the Billy stuff, it's interesting because over the past few days, you released a video where there were some statements made at a panel, and there's some stuff where some statements were made that I'm just like, no, this isn't exactly accurate. And if you want me to comment on those specifically, you can let me know. Okay, sure. So like, for example, one of the things that was mentioned by the, I guess he was a board technician for arcade machines, is that correct?
Yes,
yeah, Carlos. Some of the statements he made in regards to like technology available at the time for capturing gameplay, or like capture technology at the time, or output technology for computers, was grossly inaccurate. Like, just one of the simple things like, oh, there was no easy way to capture gameplay off of a computer. It's like, well, no, there were tons of video cards available at the time that output in composite video, and you could capture off of something like a VCR.
Pause for a second.
Sure,
I don't mean to
sure.
interrupt you. In hindsight, when after the conversation, I wanted to let me make a correct. He misspoke. He meant to say capturing an arcade. It wasn't the computer. Yes, that he meant to say arcade. Trust me when he said this, because when we have the conversation, he sometimes messes up and says computer, but it's arcade. Because we all remember the Dazzler program. Come on, let's be realistic. We all remember the Dazzler program. So we know you could capture stuff from PC, but he was talking about arcade when he had mentioned that's what he meant to say. It was very difficult to find components that were compatible to capturing audio and video. Forget about audio. Bad enough it was hard to capture video, but capture audio from the arcade at that time. So you are right in saying that there were captured
inverted colors, wasn't it? And everything?
Yeah, you are right that it was excuse me. belching. You are right that there was tons of PC software that allowed you to capture PC equipment and stuff like that. But in order to get stuff to capture from from arcade to PC, it was limited to none. It was very difficult to capture those things back then, especially if you're talking about Billy's 1.47 million score. This is talking about 2004, 2005. So I'm like, 2010, okay, I guess, but like his second million point score, which back in 2005, no. So I wanted to clear up that what he misspoke on, just so that you know that he's aware that what he said was incorrect and what he meant to say. So continue.
Okay, so I'll contend that that was a possibility that maybe he misspoke. The only thing that kind of makes me question that is he mentioned that during the section of the presentation where he was specifically discussing MAME. So I'm kind of questioning whether that was a whether he misspoke on that.
I spoke to him afterwards, and that's why he said, I meant to say, he said it, because when we were looking back, so I uploaded the video of the entire conversation. Well, the entire
thing.
That the frames and shit might have been affected because of how hard
no. We're just talking.
Arcade.
Hold on, Dwight. We're just talking about tipsters addressing him making the statement about capture cards for PC or any type of capture device. When we went over the video before I launched it online, he said I made a mistake right there. I meant to say arcade, and people will try to crucify him to it. I said if they do, I'll mention in the comments that you meant arcade. You're the first person to actually even mention it. That's why I'm not correcting you. I'm just giving you the update, because there was no way for you to know he made that mistake, or he's even aware he made the mistake. So I'm just letting you know.
Right, and to be clear, I'm not talking specifically about like capture devices. I'm talking about video output methods for computers at the time. Because he said there was no easy, like I said, I will contend that maybe he misspoke, but it just seems interesting that he would misspeak, in a section of the presentation where he was specifically addressing MAME. And so that's why I was saying, with video cards at the time, there were definitely video cards that supported composite output, which would allow you to capture from something like, say, a VCR, which is pretty common for a lot of those players of that era. They used VCRs to capture their gameplay. So that was just something inconsistent that I noticed.
You said there was others.
Yeah, if I'm looking at my list to see all the things I kind of addressed in my video. One of the things that... I covered a video in response to the video on Empire Arcadia's channel, so yeah, sure. I got a list of things. I'm not going to touch on everything unless you guys really want me to.
We have 2 hours, man.
All right, man. If you want
fill
to,
up the time slot.
Let's do it, man.
All right.
Okay, so the other thing I was addressing was the version notes, the release notes for MAME. I kind of mentioned that I think that the original investigation or the original dispute was kind of flawed, where they were mentioning that, only these particular versions of MAME produce this exact result, referring to the girder tail.
Yeah.
There actually is now evidence that shows that earlier versions of MAME can produce the girder tail. So
however,
that was something.
The narrative behind it, you have to enable the cheat mode in order to turn on the game, to set it to a different refresh rate or frame rate to get that. But then one of our guys is not. We have a guy in here who's an actual technician on the whole stuff. His name is Zuru. He's not. He's actually in a room right now playing Fortnite. But he told me that if you enable a refresh rate on the MAME and you try to run it through a PC or a converter to be recorded onto a VCR and then play it back, you will get something called he calls it the phantom lines. Someone calls it a double image. You'll get this line that comes across. I'm going to put it in the community hall. You can take a look at it. And this is the screen you would actually get if you did that. And he said the fact that this image doesn't exist, then you can't. There's no way he used enable the cheat mode. You'd get a screen like that. Furthermore, Jace Hall even concluded that the game was running at 30 frames per second, not 60 frames per second. And
I'd actually like to step in and correct that. He said it was captured at 30 frames a second, not that the game was output at 30 frames a second. Excuse me.
So it's captured at 30 frames per second. But
yes, that's correct.
All right. So, but so now that brings up the question: if the game's only going to be captured at 30 frames per second, then what's the point of changing the refresh rate?
Actually, I can explain that too if you want me to go into
Yeah,
that.
go into it. Go into it.
Okay,
Hold on,
so
when
older
was
versions
it
of MAME.
recorded first? What year?
No, let him
What
explain. Let me explain. We'll get to the year and the details later.
Okay, go ahead.
Go on.
Okay, so earlier versions of MAME for certain games, I can't 100% verify that this was the case for Donkey Kong, but I know it was definitely the case for a lot of games when run in MAME, is that they didn't always run at the correct speed. Now, you can correct the speed by either enabling cheats that would adjust the CPU clock rate simulation or adjust the frame rate. And so a lot of times in MAME, in order to get it to perform just like you could on a real machine, they would enable those cheats to get it to perform at or near the same speed.
Okay, so you're trying to say that now here's a question now. So in the
Sure, shoot.
if we ran, so wouldn't it just be sensible to get the older versions of MAME's Donkey Kong, run it on a computer and see what it looks like when you run it normally, and see if it does match the actual speed? Because that would be the only way to actually kind of justify why he would enable to use a cheat, because the assertion is he used the cheat. There's no way to actually prove it unless you can create a circumstance where it says he needs to enable the cheat. Enabling a cheat that doesn't do anything for you is pointless. So why would he use it? So we need to know the why. Because that's the question I'm asking. Okay, so when people brought up, well, Triforce, because when we brought up in the dispute stated that Billy's game produced that fingernail image before any of the MAMEs were able to do it normally without the cheat mode.
Right, and so the reason I gave for why he may have used that cheat is to get the game to perform at what would appear to be a normal speed.
So they need to investigate
Why
that.
would you want to do that at back then? Like what year was this?
2005-6.
No,
Why
I
would
believe he
one
said
want to do that?
I believe he said the tape was captured in 2004, but it was verified in 2005.
Okay,
Why
2004,
would one
5,
wanna do that in
2004 or 5.
2005?
Huh?
Why would someone want to do that in 2005? Like what? Like repeat? Like
Billy
what's the
would,
reason
in
for
order
doing
for,
that to
in order,
begin with?
and that's the thing. In order for Billy to do that, Billy would have to have the foresight to know that someone would investigate or inspect to find out if the game was MAME, and he's trying to duplicate the game to look as best as arcade as possible.
Well, they're also saying he'd do that, but he was also too stupid to fix an audio file that was chopped up on an original upload, quote unquote.
Well, Jace in Jace's dispute thread that he did today on Twitter, on Facebook, he said that the audio has, like, I'm just paraphrasing here, that the audio, not everyone, people are asserting that Billy Mitchell spliced his game together, and he says based on the tape that they were reviewing, that clearly the tape was not spliced, whether it's MAME or arcade, it was not spliced. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'd like to kind of chime in on that. The people that are making the accusations about splicing, like, I can't disagree with that more, because, like, looking at footage of his gameplays, like, it's too clean for there to be any splicing cuts. So personally, I don't think splicing was utilized at all.
And that would be the cheat. That's actually the cheating, because I argued with people, and people say, why are you defending Billy? He's a cheater. He used MAME. And I said, using MAME does not make you a cheater. Knowing it's MAME and submitting it as an arcade is cheating. Knowing it's MAME, splicing your games up in save states, that is cheating. If you don't know, you cannot call it cheating. So, okay, here's an example. I have a score, right? That was in I have a score that was on Twin Galaxies, and I found out later on that the game I was playing on wasn't even US made. It wasn't even a US version of the arcade game. It was actually a Japanese version of the game. I did not know. I wasn't even aware that it was an actual Japanese game. We later on found out through proof and evidence that it wasn't, and it was like, oh, okay, Triforce says, since we found this out, what we're going to do is going to move your game score over to a different variation to reflect the achievement you produced. So if we find out that this is actually MAME, the next step is to prove whether or not, or find out whether or not Billy knew it was MAME and then submitted it under arcade. If he did that, then now he's a cheater. But if he didn't do that, then they would have to just simply remove Billy's record and put it in the variation where it's supposed to be, because he didn't know. But the problem here is that the feverish lynch mob, they're not concerned about finding out the absolute truth of the situation. They simply want Billy Mitchell crucified as a cheater, period. That's why the whole splicing thing came up, to him never being to actually any events. And I'm sitting, this is why I don't have a side in the whole thing. Because I'm like, for me personally, I can see multiple ways of how this possibly could have gone down, including the cheating way. I can also see the people who say, oh, Billy cheated and he used MAME and stuff like that. But they just debunked the splicing. So, okay, so he didn't splice. So now we have left through assertion and conjecture that he knew it was MAME, played it on MAME, and then submit it. But Billy, you played these games on an arcade cabinet at events. Did Billy know that these arcade cabinets were not 100% arcades? He used a board certified by Nintendo. Did anyone test that board to see what that board produces? There's so many things, which is why I agree with Twin Galaxies' full thorough investigation of it, because that's the only way you're going to find the absolute truth, not conjecture and assertions to what people think it is.
So if you don't mind, I have a question about the
Sure.
certified board, and maybe you won't know the answer, and that's totally fine. So I watched the panel that was, the video that was on your channel, and he was asked specifically, or no, you asked Billy about the certified board. Now, he mentioned in response that the certified board was certified due to an investigation that was against Steve Wiebe at the time, but I didn't hear him specifically mention he had played on that board. Do we know if he's played on that board before?
No, he's played on the board. I have a video about the board.
His board.
It is no, okay. So let me give you guys a background on that board, right? The background on the board, and just to let you know, Steve Wiebe didn't even play on the board. I found out later. I was corrected in a video. I did a video about Billy Mitchell playing and how he got the record, etc., etc. And he sent me, he still has the board to this day. He sent me the board. He told me the person from Nintendo that actually worked on the board. I contacted Nintendo. I did a little bit of research on my own. I found out the guy who did the research on the board. The guy is actually, he passed away or whatever the case may be. One moment, guys. I want to give a shout outs to Baraka Play for his donation earlier. And Sito, who says, here showing some support for you and the team. Respect your hard work and your views on things. I'll keep watching and supporting as much as I can. Thank you, Cito. I appreciate your donation. Going back to what I was saying. So when I told Billy, I said, do you have the board? He said, yes. I said, I need you to take a video of the current board you have. I said, do you have the receipt to when you send the board to Nintendo? Because I need proof to you that this board was verified from Nintendo. And surely enough, he did. Remind me to give you this video so you can take a look at it yourself, Tipster. And he has I actually have the raw version of it because he wanted to block out the telephone number, but it has Nintendo's address, the person who worked on this on the board or whatever the case may be, and so forth. I even showed the person's LinkedIn page. He's dead, so that's why I showed it, so because it's not like someone can go harass the person or whatever the case may be, so people can check on that. They wanted to give that board to Steve Wiebe to play at E3 when he was going for the record at E3, and according to Patrick Scott Patterson, they rejected the use of the board. So Steve Wiebe didn't use the board, according to Patrick Scott Patterson. But the board was sent by Billy Mitchell to Pete Bouvier to use the board, but they went against using the board. So.
Okay, so the scores that are in question, do we know that he used that board for those particular scores or no?
Yeah, no. All the scores that's in question, he used the board. This is what Billy told me. They got a Donkey Kong arcade machine and they're supposed to put that board in. And this is what's stressing Billy out the most, because he's like, it's impossible for it to be MAME because he used that board. So I'm like, perhaps there's something wrong with the board. And he was like, no. So we don't know. I would ask Billy to give the board up and let them investigate the board. See if the board could be modded. Remember, it was taken in by Nintendo. The guy could have modded the board. Said, you know something, this is not working, that's not working. Let me run a MAME ROM on the board. Who knows? Well, I'm not into the whole tech thing. I don't know. But I'm like, these open rooms for things that could have happened for him. And you have to look at it. I'm looking at it from Billy's point of view as a player. How could this have happened to him? Was he aware? Do I think Billy was aware of the situation? I watch him play Donkey Kong. People are talking about how is he getting all these barrels on the screen. Billy knows how to control the barrels to come down to the lower part of the screen faster, which forces Donkey Kong to throw more barrels. That has nothing to do with it being MAME or arcade. He just knows how to control the barrels to come down more, which is why he can get more barrels.
And I think the questioning of the barrels is like really stupid because there's so much RNG on that game. It's pretty ridiculous to even question that.
Exactly, but he told me the secret over at the Kong off, and I watched him, and I have video footage, proof of it. He's like, you know how they keep talking about like how you can't, how did my arcade games back then get so many barrels? Watch this. I'm like, yo, how are you filling up the screen with the barrels? And he said, shh, I have the whole tape of footage. I'm gonna release that later. Don't worry, everyone will see that, so everyone can to get off that whole topic about the stupidness behind it. But whatever. But like,
did Billy say he wanted that release?
it's too at this point. I just told Billy release everything you can, and he wants.
Oh, okay.
Billy wants
And he
everything
agreed- oh, he
released
agreed, okay.
because at this point in time, the way things are working against him, he needs all information out there to help exonerate him because he didn't use MAME, and I believe him. I believe he didn't. I believe he knowingly did not use MAME. But I'm looking at the opposition at the same time, and I'm looking at the evidence presented against him. And based on what the current evidence presented against him, yes, it looks like MAME. To be very honest with you, it does look like MAME. Does that mean it's MAME? No. It looks like it, but does it mean it is? No. The arcade game that I was playing on is that US version. Yes, it looks like it, but guess what we found out in the end? It was a Japanese game. But until we did the thorough investigation, none of us knew. When we found out it was a Japanese game, my game got moved to a different category. I didn't know it was a Japanese game. I was reading English. And people, guess what people said? Todd Rogers, they said Todd Rogers refed my game. I was like, wrong. It was Walter Day who refed my game, and it was Vincent, Gary Vincent of FunSpot, who was, at the time was in partner with Twin Galaxies, was the head technician to make sure all games were running on the same the rule book settings that the rule book at the time said. And Gary Vincent himself set the thing for me at FunSpot, which is where I got the score. But no one knew that. They just thought it because Todd's on my team and we're on the same team. Todd verified my records. Todd and Lance verified all my records in Twin Galaxies, and that's why I have records in Twin Galaxies, because I have people in Empire Arcadia cheating for me. This is the type of stuff that just runs out. And because I know all of this type of stuff, Tipster, is why I defend them, because I know more than what the average person knows, and there's a lot of information that's not out there. And I plead to people, please let the scientists and the investigators do their job. Please stop interfering with the investigation. I think I'm being very fair asking that. Do you think that is unreasonable?
I mean, personally, if I think if people have access to like the appropriate hardware and everything to run their own tests, I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with people running their own tests.
Sure.
I do take issue with some of the people who are being extremely aggressive and demanding that what their findings are 100% like what's right and everything. I know that you and we butt heads and we don't agree on a lot of things, but I also think very logically. Like this whole nonsense about, this mob mentality stuff is pretty ridiculous. Like, yeah, sure, let them do their investigation. But I mean, if you want to investigate on your own, there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. And everyone should. First of all, Twin Galaxies made it simple. If you have any findings in your investigations, please post them in the Twin Galaxies thread. And let the investigators add that to the investigation, and they will come up to a conclusion. I even told Billy, I said, listen, Billy, it's looking like this thing is going to come out to the conclusion of MAME based on their findings. Does it mean it's MAME? No, but if they come to that conclusion, you have to accept the conclusion. And he's just like, yeah, but the people are going to call me a cheater. And I have to tell Billy, whoa. No, they don't. That doesn't mean you cheated. It means you didn't know. And so his thing, so I'm telling him, when you get a chance, go back to the arcade, practice arcade, try and set a new 1,000,000-point score. Because if they come out to the findings that it's MAME and they move your score, fine, they move your score. Work on a new 1,000,000-point score on an arcade with today's technology that will simply show this is arcade, and that will be the end of it. In terms of you being called a cheater,
Triforce.
Yes.
I want to ask you, the record, which people are saying was done on MAME, is that the highest Donkey Kong point record in the world, or is it just like...
No, it's like 12th place, 13th place, something like that.
Oh, it's not... Oh, okay, it's not even number one, so...
Former world record.
No, he's been beaten several times now.
Yeah, I know it's been beaten. So, if he can even
Billy
just
Mitchell's
get to...
ass for the last 10 years.
I want to... go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so if he can even just get like match that on a new board or get to like 11th place or something like that, people really can't say anything in regards to
the plan is
cheated
to go
on
after
purpose.
that.
Because if all these years after he still has the capabilities,
my man, Sayo, watch
this,
Sayo. He went to the Kong off, right? He's been playing on and off when he gets a chance from his job to play to play the game, so he's not completely rusted. He went to the Kong off, and let me explain to you, because I was there, right? Billy is constantly tapped on his shoulders, people standing next to him. Hello, hi. They had to get a bodyguard for Billy. I'm not playing around. In fact, when I do the vlog, you'll see, and like I'm not even messing around. Billy was getting like 600,000 games and whatnot, and until he got a bodyguard, Billy had an 800,000 point game. Steve Wiebe, who I believe is a more consistent Donkey Kong player, came in there and dropped 900,000. He didn't get 1,000,000. But the thing is, I believe if Billy just simply went back to the drawing board, got into the lab, started practicing consistently. Now, at Arcade Expo, they have the modern setup for to capture your games with the new whatever is it that they have that these guys are using now. And I'm like, Billy, why don't you just go back in the lab and just record your game and just send it to people and just say, all right, here's your new 1,000,000-point game, and end it. It's not like the Todd Rogers case where you have to reproduce an impossible score. Billy can just reproduce a regular score. This is not hard for him. It isn't. It's a matter of time, and this is the crux of the argument. Well, this stream. It's not about Billy proving he can get 1,000,000 points. This is about wiping out Billy's legacy. If this was about proving Billy couldn't get 1,000,000 points or whatever, as you said, Tipster, they wouldn't be so feverishly aggressive at attacking him and saying his score is fake and etc., and all that other stuff. It would be a different thing, but they don't want Billy's legacy to exist. I have the comments still on my YouTube videos regarding Billy. Get rid of Billy, ban him, wipe him out, etc. They went on Jace Hall's stream today. They were saying the same thing. There's a hit list of the quote-unquote old guard that they need to get rid of. They're like, we need to get rid of Ben Gold as well. One of them said, we need to get rid of Ben Gold just because. So Ben had called me and said, what are they going to do? Said I wasn't on That's Incredible? I'm like, perhaps. They may be like, you were on That's Incredible. So who knows? The issue here is that there is a hit on trying to wipe out the history. But we keep interrupting you, Tipster. And I know some people may be watching this later on and is like, oh my God, they just keep talking over him. I want you to go back and finish all your points. So getting back to your points with Billy.
One of the things that you were mentioning is like, you know, how he can, you know, potentially set, you know, a score again, like a pretty good score or whatever, just kind of prove that he's still a good player. And that's one thing I want to make clear is it's not necessarily that I don't think Billy's a good player. I wouldn't even go as far as to say that I think he cheated. Maybe there's a possibility he used MAME but didn't realize it was MAME. I don't know. I mean, I suppose we'll find out when they do their official arcade captures. I don't know if you caught the whole stream tonight. There were some very damning things that happened in that stream tonight, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what they find out, because from what Jay said, they're buying the actual capture equipment that Billy said he used,
Yes.
and they're going to be testing it on an actual arcade machine. So it'll be interesting to see what those results yield.
Correct.
One thing they did mention,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you caught this on that stream, because I don't know how long you were in the stream. Were you there for the whole thing, or?
I was in there for a majority of it, but not the whole thing. I didn't even see the end, because I had my wife had came home to prepare some food. I had to take a shower and all that other stuff. So yeah. But what happened?
Okay. So there was one part in the stream that looked really bad for Billy, in my opinion. One of the things he said is that, okay, so they're waiting for the capture equipment that Billy says he used to capture it and do like the most accurate representation possible of Billy's original capture. However, they've already done captures of original arcade hardware. If you go back to the original dispute, one of the things that one of those like those little animated GIFs that they show of how the boards load and stuff. If you go back to that, one of the things it shows for that actual arcade hardware should do is on that first frame of loading the boards, is on the girder screen, the barrel stage as they call it.
The five girders.
The 5 girders.
Yes, I saw that though.
Right. So they captured actual arcade hardware, and he said the only thing they were able to get it to produce was the 5 girders.
Oh, what? No.
No. On actual arcade hardware, it only produced the 5 girders. So it never once did it produce the finger.
No, I saw that.
Girders.
Yeah, you're right. I 100% saw that. And if that's the case, then that's the case. And I told Billy, you may have to be prepared for this. And Billy is still wondering, how can this be possible? And I'm like, Billy, for all you know, it's like when I ordered my arcade game. I ordered my arcade game from a California company and had them to deliver it to FunSpot. And they delivered the arcade game to FunSpot, and I went there and I played on that arcade game, thinking that arcade game was a U.S. model, certified board, arcade, whatever. And I set my world record on it. Gary Vincent went in, saw the board, fixed the dip switch, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Everything was good. I did this in 2008 or 9, I don't know, but it was a decade ago. And a decade later, my score is under dispute, saying it is impossible, that I cheated, and a ref did it for me, and blah, 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 and the whole 9 yards, not knowing that it was Lance and Gary Vincent, no, not Lance, Walter Day and Gary Vincent that actually set up everything. And lo and behold, right, they went back to the arcade, and they found out that the board, that and we did some stuff on it, that, oh, yeah, it was a Japanese board. And I was like, what the hell? Now, as a player, how would I have known that that was a Japanese board? There was no way for me to know. So for me as a player, looking at another player with a similar situation, I can completely relate to Billy. It is very possible that the Donkey Kong machines he was playing on were not actual Donkey Kong arcade games.
Has the Donkey Kong arcade board ever gotten a revision? Or is it just
prime example, right? I'm in an old video, in a new recent video that I just put out, a person commented on this. There's a video where Billy is going over the Internet 2009 Hall of Fame event, right? And it shows a video of Billy and Steve Sanders playing a Donkey Kong, because he was retelling the story, and I had the footage to match the story he was retelling. And he's like, me and Steve are playing a Donkey Kong game. And you'll see me go over and move Steve to the side. I purposely slowed down the arcade game, which load like MAME. And he's like, see, the game load like MAME. So what are you going to say? The game is MAME? Then someone came in and says, Triforce, that arcade system that Billy and Steve Sanders was playing on is a dual boarded ROM something Donkey Kong board, so it's actually an emulated version of Donkey Kong. But here, Billy,
is it an official like Nintendo?
The comment's still there.
Board?
The comment's still there. I don't know if it's a Nintendo-made board. I wouldn't know. But the guy says he knows this for a fact because he knows the company that sent it and what they used on it. But here I am under the impression, looking through an arcade screen, that is arcade. But it's it's ROM and a MAME. So you see how Billy could get.
Never know.
Billy could have gotten caught in that, I got caught in it. So that's why I'm like, oh. And I told Billy, I said, you know something, Billy? All the people you may have ordered your arcade games from may have never given you the real Donkey Kong version, because it wasn't until after it wasn't after. Here's another thing for you, tipsters, something to take into consideration. You know when all the actual real refurbished Donkey Kong arcade machines started appearing up? Richie Knuckles. Richie Knuckles is an actual arcade restorator.
Really?
And he started in 2011, he started restoring Donkey Kong arcade boards. That's why everyone who played on a Donkey Kong machine after 2011 was playing on the quote-unquote officials. And I'm like, and I'm looking at Billy, I'm like, I think you were unintentionally sabotaged. What you ordered is not what you got. And even Billy's like, this is bullshit. And I'm like, it may have happened, me. I'm like, it's very possible. It may have happened. I was like, that's something you're just going to have to take into consideration. That it's possible. And if it is, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You didn't know. Don't feel bad about it. You didn't know. It happens, man. What we need to do is get you now on an actual Donkey Kong, get you to your 1,000,000 points and whatever, so you can preserve your name and your legacy, because there are headhunters out there that is just simply trying to destroy him. They don't care if he can get 1,000,000 points again. They just want him dead. And I've seen this with no one can tell me, oh, Triforce is not like that. You can't tell me. I've seen it myself. I know. I know about the inner workings inside. So this is why I'm open to criticism. I'm open to new information on the sides. I told people I'm true neutral in this situation, because there's a lot of things I don't know. Maybe it was me.
Yeah, and what you mentioned happened to you. That's definitely a possible thing. The fact that something like this could happen to Billy, that's definitely possible. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with what happened to Dwayne Richards with Nibbler, right?
You know something, just for the sake of the argument, without getting into the backstory, exactly 100% the situation. In the movie Man vs. Snake, without getting into, let's stick to the movie's story or rendition of the story.
And keep in mind, I'm not going based off the new movie story when I bring that up, by the way.
Oh, but the point is that Dwayne Richards' Nibbler game seem to have been playing faster than the other one.
Up for those of us who don't know, for the stream, I don't know, and the stream, I'm sure they're interested.
Yeah, go ahead and I'm not sure if you know the whole story.
Just give the OG story.
I'm just giving the paraphrasing. I'm not going to get into the details because I'm not here to slander anybody or whatever. Both Tim McVeigh and Dwayne Richards, a known enemy of Billy Mitchell. That's a fact. These guys were competing in a game called Nibbler. And for some reason, Dwayne Richards' game was playing faster than Tim McVeigh's game. And an engineer found out that something on the board allowed his game to move faster than the normal board. That gave him an advantage over Tim McVeigh. But according to Dwayne Richards, he had no idea that was going on in the board.
Yeah, precisely what happened. I'm not going to go into like a super long spiel, but basically like a pin on the CPU, there's one pin on the CPU that regulates the speed at which the CPU runs, and there was a defect with that pin which caused it to run faster.
See, there you go.
So, I mean, yeah, I'll contend that that's definitely a possibility. And, I mean, I think pretty logically in terms of like what possibilities there are. There's several.
And also, one thing that doesn't make sense at all about like people whenever they bring up that Billy Mitchell's a cheater, if he really did intentionally cheat that one Donkey Kong score years ago, why would he consistently always appear at public events, opening himself up to the possibility of being exposed? Why doesn't he just take the score and then leave if he really did cheat? Because with all these public appearances he does, it just brings more opportunity for people to confront him about the score. So he clearly doesn't have anything to hide.
To be fair, when he attends these events, he's not being asked to reproduce that exact same score. So,
when he does go to the events, he does make an attempt to beat his old scores. Every Kong off
has to play on a actual machine.
No, every Kong off he's ever gone to, he's always decided to join in on the Kong off and compete. When he went to this year's Kong off, he had no intention on playing. It's the gamer bug. You go there, you're in an environment of competitive play. You're not asked. No one asks Billy Mitchell to come to these events and try to beat a record. But you have to think from the mind of a competitor like Billy. Yo, you wouldn't know it'd be so cool to further my legacy if I set a score here and now. This could be it. This could be the time. And that I know that for a fact. I do it.
Yo, Dreyfus, we have a new stream from Fortnite.
Oh, you have a new stream? Links.
Yeah, I'm about to. Hands' game crashed, so we had to restart the stream.
So there, that's always there. But so whenever Billy goes to a place, he was not slated. Something people don't know. He was not slated to play in the Kong off at the Kong off 6 that just passed. If Billy had qualified to play into the Kong off, based on what I've learned from him, his job was to MC the Kong off. That's his job. His job is to MC the Kong offs, but he always makes it a thing to play in the Kong offs. I guess that's the player in Billy. He just wants to play in public, and he wants to. This is the new generation, and these guys are better than him. And it's the old man who wants to show the new guys that the old man still has a fight in him and whatever. And that's where I'll agree with you, Sahil. That like, why put yourself in that position if you have something to hide? No one would do that. If you'd get your record and you vanish. So, but some people would then counter and say otherwise by using other people. But me personally, in my personal opinion, I don't think Billy cheated. Do I think it's main? Well, I don't have a thought on any of that. I believe it's arcade, and there's something we're missing why it's just coming off looking like main. But when the scientific evidence is finalized, it won't make a difference what I know or what I think. If we can't prove it's not main, then we have to go with the proof that proves it is. That's just a fact. Sometimes you'll lose a case that way. You know how many innocent people have gone to jail for they're innocent. They didn't do the crime. That's a fact. God knows, they know, and whoever else knows. But evidence is against them and they go to jail anyway. People have gone to the chair. People have gone to prison for rape based on the evidence of the time. Years later, they're exonerated because DNA states otherwise. But they went to jail already. The evidence at that time stated that he did it. But he didn't. So these things are the things that I sit down and I counsel Billy and I explain it to him. It doesn't matter what's true. It's about what you can prove. And right now, we have to prove that your game is arcade, and the opposition has to prove that the game is main. If your proof isn't better than their proof, then the conclusion it's main, regardless if it is or not. And Billy knows this. And his thing is he's scared that they will try to destroy his legacy. This is not the first time Billy's been attacked, tipster. Remember they went after his Pac-Man score. You know about this because you were involved in that debate. Only for us to find out that Bill Bastable himself said, no, I didn't get the perfect score. And that some of the information that you researched wasn't what it seemed to be. And on the further investigation, you came to find out, oh, okay, it's misinformation that you had. And that's what that is. Now, Billy's thoughts about it was that blah, 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 the non-journalists and whatever. I keep telling you, I never said any such thing. And I don't correct other people's opinion. If someone has an opinion, you say your opinion. I'm not going to correct other people's opinion. In my thing, this is not a journalistic situation or whatever the case may be. Journalism is a stuff like what Game Informer did when they wrote an article for April's version of Game Informer saying that Billy Mitchell's record was removed from Twin Galaxies as he was found guilty for cheating, etc. This is published in the #1 video game magazine in the world. People are reading that today, and the investigation is still going. That's bad journalism.
Yeah, that's terrible journalism. All the gaming websites are reporting that his scores were removed, and like even when I eventually covered it, that's one of the things that I made sure to note was that a lot of the mainstream media outlets are reporting that his scores have been removed from the record at Twin Galaxies, and it's like, no, they have not been removed from Twin Galaxies. It was removed on the DK forums.
That's it. And they're not the holders of the world records. They really aren't. They're the holders of the DK form world records. I'm sorry, no offense to you guys out there. Twin Galaxies and Guinness is the authority in an adjudication for video game world records on planet Earth. Facts! You can argue what you want, but that's the facts. Everybody else is their own branded version. I'll give them that at best. But they're not the authority. So, in any event, so Billy is well aware of what the outcome may be. And I've already told him what's his best course of action to do. Because Carlos is looking in to try to produce the fingernail thing in the arcade. If he can't produce it and Jace Hall can't find it, it's Jace Hall has to go with the scientific findings. You can't get mad at him for going with the scientific findings.
Yeah, of course not. And when he finds what he finds, whatever he finds, I mean, that's
That's
I'm
what
going to
it
be covering
is.
for sure.
That is exactly what it is. Now,
maybe there are other people in the community who will get pissed off and be upset because, you know, they didn't get the findings they want. But at the end of the day, what I intend to cover is whatever Twin Galaxies reports.
And that's what it's supposed to be. So we'll see what he says regarding that. But the whole invisible war thing is, the question here is why. Let's keep it. You want to keep it a billion% real right now, Tipster? Because I want to keep it 1,000,000,000% real.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, buddy.
All right. Now, you say you and I don't see eye to eye. That's
right.
That's not true. That's actually false. Perhaps you may not see eye to eye with me. I don't have an issue with you not to see eye to eye with. You made a video. I thought you got your information from you know who. I will not mention this person's name. That's the opinion I was under, and to a certain degree, I'm still under that impression. And you know why? Because when you showed me in your own video where you got additional information, the source of that letter from Midway stated who it was from. Your investigation was based on what you saw on that person's Facebook page. And I was like, oh, misinformation.
All right. So let's not beat around the bush. I'm more than comfortable to tell you exactly where I got the information from because I said it in my video when I did that video. Do you want me to just say it? I'll say it.
Well, okay, then wait, time out. Okay, say it, because I want to see if this matches what I saw in your video.
I got it from Catherine Spears' Facebook page.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's what I was talking about. I was saying the same thing. Oh, okay. I thought you was going to say someone else. I'm like, what? But yes.
No. Like I said, I'll tell you exactly where I got it from. No beat around the bush. I mean, she has a Facebook page called Retro Bitch, I believe it is, and I follow it on Facebook. And I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed, and there it is. I asked her a little bit more information about it. She gave me what she knew, and then I did a video on it.
So now you were given information. You was given misinformation from this person, but based on what she gave you, it was good enough, and you ran with the story. When I saw that, that's why I told your friend, I was like, I actually don't blame him. I already know what it is. Once I saw where it came from, I'm like, yeah, same stuff over and over. So that's why I didn't blame you. Now, Billy didn't know where you got it from. That's why he said what he said about you. And that's why I'm not going to follow it. Like, Billy, if you want to say that about him, that's fine. So but I'm like, nah, I'm not blaming him for it. But we're past that. But I brought that up because I want you to notice something. You ever notice that this isn't outside of Twin Galaxies itself? This isn't. Twin Galaxies, Jace Hall, he is about the integrity of clearing the boards of false records. He's not into conjecture. He's not into assertion. He's not into people's opinions. The image he portrays, he doesn't care about any of that. He just wants a clean scoreboard, period. But there are other people who have this aggressive, malicious intent, and they literally have said it. We need to wipe out these people. There are people who have even said it. If Twin Galaxies does not produce this result on this player in this dispute, they should boycott Twin Galaxies. burn Twin Galaxies down to the ground. Come on, I'm sure you read these comments, and it's like, what? So what are you here for? Are you here for the truth? Or are you here to get your way? And if not, it's we riot. And that's why I'm like, this is what the invisible war is. Whether people like it or not, Billy Mitchell, Ben Gold, Joel West, Paul Dean. Well, okay, because I don't, so I'm going to leave that person's name out because I don't really want to get into the political nonsense with people and whatever. And many other esports luminary superstars. That's what I call them, right? These guys are the reason why competitive gaming is what it is today. Before Twin Galaxies, you had competitive gaming. Competitive gaming was not invented by Twin Galaxies. Walter Day never claims to have created competitive gaming. It was before him. However, Twin Galaxies was created with the intention and the infrastructure to turn competitive gaming into a sport. That's facts. They didn't look to just promote their arcades. They've done tournaments that promoted multiple arcades around the nation. They've done international competitions. They've managed players, managed their records, publicized players, host tournaments, got sponsorships by the video game industry entities at the time, broadcast tournaments, and so forth and so forth. These are the things esports companies and entities are doing today. This day and age. They're all doing this in this day and age. And I want to read something to you because this is actually
Can I say something real quick before you go on?
yeah, say what you have to say so that I'm finding this thing I want to read to him, and then I can expand upon it because it's literally based on what we're actually talking about, Tipster, or why this whole the invisible war to erase the history of esports. But I'm going, yes.
Okay, so when you say like secret war and stuff, in
Not
regards
secret.
to Twin Galaxy,
Not secret, invisible.
no, I know. I keep on thinking the Marvel thing, Invisible War. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Marvel
Whenever, okay. I'm sorry, Marvel, please. But anyway, whenever you mention the Invisible Wars, and then in regards specifically to Todd Rogers, Billy Mitchell, Twin Galaxies, and then like the people against them, right? Whoever they may be. I agree with you that obviously the higher ups and stuff they have they have a what I would think is a clear motive for why they would just want their history to just kind of be ignored so they can kind of make their own that's more beneficial to them. But I don't think that it's like all these entities like Apollo Legend and Easy Scripts and stuff. I don't think these guys are collaborating with these higher ups in like a big war room to take them down. I think it's 3 individual groups that are like all have their own motives or whatever it may be, like for wanting like the legacies or whatever torn down. It's the average like YouTube commenter or stuff that comes in and is like, we want blood, we want Twin Galaxies burnt to the ground or whatever, we want their entire legacies erased, they're cheaters, blah blah blah. That's just mob mentality. It's completely like they don't have an actual reason. It's just mob mentality, and the reason that is because of the other YouTubers like Apollo Legend, Easy Scrapes. There's one other that I keep on forgetting. But yeah, there's like 3 main speedrunner YouTubers to keep on covering this content, and they definitely don't have any kind of personal history with like the old guard of Twin Galaxies or anything. So it's clear that the only reason they're doing it is because they heard a controversy and they know that because it fits in with the theme of their channel, they can make content off it. They don't have any personal stake in this apart from the fact that they can make videos and profit from it, right? The only people that are like really invested like on a personal level are the higher ups and stuff who want to rewrite history. It's not one big conglomerate that like is in a room and plans these like whatever it may be. It's all separate people who all are doing their own things that happen to align with each other.
Well, let me say this. Based on what you know, that's what you think. but there's more to it than meets the eye. The speedrun community. So let's go to Guinness Book, because this is what the war is about. The war is for Guinness when it comes to the speedrun community. For the last 10 years, 2008 to 2017, Guinness Book has published a section in its book for Twin Galaxies. It was a section made solely for Twin Galaxies. 10 or 12 pages. Twin Galaxies records were just all over it. I have personally witnessed in 2016 and 2017 people of the speedrun community disliking Twin Galaxies, saying that they don't like Twin Galaxies as a whole. It's a joke. They should remove the site. They're horrible adjudicating records, and their system is not only outdated and obsolete, but is complete utter trash. Speedrun community says this.
Now, I want to kind of chime in on this because I actually recently got involved with the speedrunning community. I recently started speedrunning Resident Evil 2, the GameCube version. But a lot of the issue that the speedrunning community, and keep in mind, I don't agree with their kind of harsh speech in regards to Twin Galaxies. Like I said, there's a lot of people who are a little bit aggressive with their opinions, and I don't necessarily agree with that. Having said that, do you know why the speedrunning community has issues with Twin Galaxies?
Okay, well, from what I know, from what I know, based on what was said in the Twin Galaxies forum from representatives of the speedrun community, from their Twitter feeds, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And this is predating Apollo Legend, predating Easyscape, predating OmniGamer. This is like 2006. They just don't feel that Twin Galaxies should be partnered with Guinness. They never liked that from jump. Then insert OmniGamer, May 2017, come down, Easyscape gets involved, then Apollo Legend, right? And I'm like, and
that's all it is. Triforce. Like it's a fight for who can tear down who and who's gonna get Guinness.
Well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. Then hold on, one at a time. Then I'm like, okay, what's going? In August of 2017. On the Twin Galaxies forums, I was now this is when Todd Rogers' dispute was introduced in its true form. Everyone was going in on Todd, and members were signing up to Twin Galaxies, brand new members. And I remember one comment that was made: "You guys are all from the speedrun community," and so I think it was Hector Tulloch was mentioning it, and he was saying, I bet you right after Todd Rogers' record is gone, you guys won't even stay in Twin Galaxies. It's like you guys are just here to just kill Todd Rogers because he has a first actual official speedrun record, and the speedrun community don't have that record. So you just want to get rid of Todd's record, something to that effect. And some of the speedrunner guys was like, yeah, so? I was like, what? You can't just say so like it doesn't matter. Whatever. Later on, I started to put two and two together. The newest issue of Guinness Book. Introducing this. So I put it on the stream for you to watch. This is the 2018 Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition. Allow me to show you guys something. Oh, man. So, the section... The section that Twin Galaxies normally would have in the Guinness Book was literally replaced by speedrun.com. Speedrun.com replaced Twin Galaxies in the 2018 book. I was like, what? Now, there are some records in here based on Twin Galaxies, such as mine's, and it says verified by Twin Galaxies, which is not true. It was verified by Guinness, but they thought, because they saw a copy of it in Twin Galaxies, they thought it was Twin Galaxies, but it's not. Let me see something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 pages. Speedrun.com got 10 pages in an area where it was reserved for Twin Galaxies. Got 10 pages. So that's something. Just wanted to put that out there for you guys to know that. Like, what's going on? So when the speedrun community came in and were attacking Twin Galaxies, and in the early stages of Todd Rogers' thing, everyone was like, close Twin Galaxies down. Especially when the book came out. When the book came out, oh my goodness, it was a big argument on Twin Galaxies about it. Twin Galaxies members was like, yo, why did they replace us for speedrun.com? Speedrun gamers were on Twin Galaxies laughing at the Twin Galaxies community, saying y'all don't even deserve to be in the Guinness book anyway. You guys are an embarrassment for adjudicated. You should close down your website, turn off Twin Galaxy. It was a huge. Jace Hall even made a post saying he was disappointed that Guinness would actually do that, and that may influence him into looking into other means to produce published scores of Twin Galaxies in another way, which I don't think Jace Hall should have said that. But whatever.
You're forgetting just one thing to add to that. Nothing, you didn't really say anything wrong, but just to add to it, the average like speedrun.com user who's maybe just somebody who watches somebody who streams their speedruns on Twitch or whatever, or maybe casually speedruns and they don't really have a stake like
I know
in
it
Twin
is
Galaxies.
not every single person in the community, and I can't take 3 or 4 or 5, 10 or 20 people and take a big brush and just brush the whole community over. I know.
That's not what I was. No, that's not what I was going to say.
As long as it wasn't going to
I
say
agree
that.
with that.
Well, you beat me to it because I was going to say that.
Okay.
The people
This is
that
white supremacy
who
that is oppressing
there's a lot of
all
people
us.
in.
Stop, Sub Robin. Right now's not the time for the stupid jokes.
I was going to say, okay, there's a lot of people who probably weren't even born when Twin Galaxies was founded, who are in the speedrun community, and a lot of them don't like Twin Galaxies simply because they think their rule system is archaic. It's not that they have some kind of hidden agenda, but they do hate Twin Galaxies just because when they got into the scene or became interested in it, they were introduced with the speedrun.com way, which is also, in my opinion, the better way, personal opinion. But putting that aside, so when they look at Twin Galaxies rules, they say, what? Any percent, you have to do it completely without any kind of exploit or glitch, or you can't use any kind of advanced trick that oftentimes takes more skill than doing it the regular way. I think that's dumb, and a lot of people agree. But some people take that, I think it's too dumb, overboard, and then get on the hate train. I just wanted to add that to what you were saying.
And that's fine. And I actually agree. I put something in the room. I don't know, in the community hall. I don't know if you saw it, Tipster. The 2 images at the very end. I'm going to read one of the images for you.
Okay, I'm checking that out.
So you'll see the one. This was in the back of the 2017 Twin Galaxies book. This was printed twice in Twin Galaxies. In the Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition. It was printed once in the 2016 and once in 2017. And it says, on November 10th, 1981, Twin Galaxies Video Game Arcade opened its doors in Ottumwa, Iowa. Founder Walter Day sought to turn gaming into an international sport by creating contests, enforcing rules, crowning champions, and measuring world records. He collected high scores from games from more than 100 arcades, releasing them as the Twin Galaxies National Scoreboard. Since then, thousands of video game scores have been adjudicated and collected, with high scores logged and record holders honored. Twin Galaxies' state-of-the-art peer review system adheres to the Guinness World Records submission guidelines, ensuring that Twin Galaxies remains at gold standard for video game adjudication. Submit your scores at twingalaxies.com, etc., etc. That blurb there in the Guinness Book of World Records then was made into an actual record, certifying by Guinness Twin Galaxies as the oldest video game adjudication service, which was founded in Ottumwa, Iowa, in November 10th, 1981.
Yeah, I've seen this before. You actually like to quote this a lot, so I'm very familiar with it.
Okay. There's a reason why I have to quote it, though. But go on, Asahil.
Now, I'll just start to jump in a little bit unrelated, but just so you know, there's like 1 or 2 people in the chat. I don't know if you were reading, who were just asking about the trading cards because they're saying they're still waiting on it and stuff.
Oh yes, guys. Over this entire weekend, I'm gonna focus on getting the trading cards out and getting the cereal out. We're going to be doing our entire hashtag all this week. That's why I'm still up right now streaming with you guys. I'm under pressure because I put myself in this pressured situation. I've been traveling so much. I have not gotten to do anything. Now I'm back in Jamaica. I got you guys. So make sure you tune into our streams all over the weekend. There's gonna be streams where it's like getting the Mario cereal out, getting the trading cards out, etc., etc. I'm on it, guys. I'm on it. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to Hashtag because I want to be able to gather your information from there, and also be able to make my sponsored numbers and whatever. But I'll get everything out to everybody. So here we go now.
Sorry to interject. I actually
yes.
I have to get going pretty soon. But I know that you said you didn't see the whole stream. Were you there for the 24 frame anomaly? I just wanted to ask you about that before.
No, I didn't. No, I don't know about that. What's going on with the 24 frame anomaly?
Okay, so essentially, there was one particular. I forget exactly what tape he was analyzing for this, so I apologize for not being able to provide that. But one of the tapes he was analyzing, Billy's tapes, when it was loading the Pi Factory board, he noticed that the one-up in the top left corner flashed a little bit long on one particular section of that the board loading. And so when he analyzed it, he checked various other board loadings to see how that's affected. And essentially what it is for the one-up, flashing one-up in the top left corner, there's 8 frames of animation for when the image is off, and then there's 8 frames of animation for when it's on. Well, on this particular board load, which it was a delayed board load, it had 24 frames of animation for the one-up in the active position. This would be consistent with possible usage. I'm not going to go outright and say it's factual that this is what happened, but this would be consistent with the use of save states. So I was just kind of wondering what you thought about that.
I don't know. I don't know enough about Donkey Kongs and in MAME to know if it's save states. But then here's a problem. If it's save states, he had to splice together the game.
No.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, so MAME has a function built in within it called the MAME replay. And essentially what it'll do is once you've finished your run of the game, or your gameplay, whatever you want to call it, you could actually have it replay that exact gameplay exactly the way it happened before. Now, if you utilize save states during that gameplay, any sections of the game you replayed via a save state, it will disregard those particular playthroughs of a particular section, whatever you loaded the save state from. So the theory, I'm not necessarily stating this is fact or this is what happened. I'm just stating that it's a possibility. What could possibly be happening here is a section of the game could be played using save states in this particular area, and rather than recording the gameplay live, the actual MAME replay was recorded so that it would be like a seamless playthrough, and it wouldn't appear that any splicing was utilized. You understand what I'm saying?
So the theory is that he had already put together a doctored playthrough of the game that was
he
running
played
through
through
the
it
arcade,
in MAME.
and what he did was sit in front of the game and mimic what was going on in the game, which give the appearance that he's playing the game.
No.
Oh, okay.
So let me try to explain it a little better. I know it's a little bit technical, so it's a little confusing to explain. So obviously, as an emulator, MAME has access to something called save states. And essentially, what you can do is you can save a section of the game so that if you make a mistake moving on forward from that, you can revert back to that save state and try it again. Okay. Now, MAME has a feature built in called MAME Replay, which allows it to replay your gameplay session as it was when you played it. So what the theory is that Billy played the game. As he was accessing certain sections of the game or different boards would load, he would set a save state so that if he made a mistake on that particular board, he would revert back to that previous save state and play the board again. And he would keep doing this until he got whatever run he was satisfied with. And rather than recording his gameplay live as he's playing it, he could use the MAME replay to replay back his gameplay, and it would play it as if it was one seamless gameplay, and he could capture that. Again, I'm not stating this is fact. This is what happened. But based on this 24 frame one-up anomaly, that would indicate that as a possibility.
Okay, so how many times did this 24 frame delay happen? Was it multiple
times?
Only
once in the entire gameplay.
So only one time in the entire gameplay that happened.
Yes.
Okay.
So that could potentially indicate that that particular board, for whatever reason, he had to save state multiple times to try and replay it.
For that one board, well, actually, what the question I was going to ask is actually kind of irrelevant because I've seen Billy Mitchell run through all of the boards in Donkey Kong, and I don't see him having problems in the game where he would have to actually save state multiple times until he got it right. So
The theory isn't that, like, say he died or something like that. It's just maybe he didn't get the score he wanted when he completed that board, so then he can go back and try again. Because again, Donkey Kong is a game with a lot of RNG, so maybe he didn't get the amount of score multipliers or whatever that he wanted on that board, so he could go back, try it again until he got the score multipliers he wanted. And okay, this is a good run for this board. Let's move on to the next one. It's just a theory. But I thought I would throw it out there because that was a very...
It's a theory, and any to me, anything, there is nothing. Come on, I'm the guy defending Todd Rogers after the verdict. There is nothing that is impossible. So I'm consistent in my beliefs. There is nothing that's impossible. So you telling me that, I'm like, okay, it's not impossible. In terms of me believing that he did that, because clearly what you're telling me, then it's possible that a person can actually do that. It's not impossible for it to be done. But that Billy did that, nah, that's stretching it for me. I can concede to, all right, he was playing MIM and didn't know it. But him save stating, Billy's too good to be save stating the game. If this was Billy Mitchell got 1.2 million in Donkey Kong and beat Robbie Lakeman's record. And someone's like, Billy's not good enough to play that at that level. He had to use MAME. And all this evidence was coming up. I look at Billy, I'm like, dogs, we friends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recuse myself from this. Because even I'm going to be like, nah, dogs, this is not, I can't defend you on that. But some 1.6 million score? Nah, no. No. That's disrespecting. To me, that's disrespecting him as a player. Yes, it's possible it can happen. I'm not saying that it can't happen. But just from the theory that he had to save state and it only happened one time in the game, I don't think that's a save state. I think that's just something in the game. And if we'll find out in the end.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely possible that it could be the game. Maybe the memory got filled up or something, and it had to refresh the memory temporarily in order to load at a more accurate rate. I mean, anything's possible.
Could have been a stall delay on the what did you call that thing again before, the capture? Could have been a temporary lag in the capture, and it just
that definitely wasn't the case here because there were other objects on the board that were still moving, so it wasn't a delay on the capture.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. I didn't really think it was relevant to what the point I was bringing, but yeah, other objects on the board were still moving when this blinking 1-up froze for 24 frames.
Fair enough.
And one of the things that I've always thought, like I said earlier in the stream when I joined you guys, is I'm not contending that I don't think Billy's a good player. He's definitely a good player. He's performed live many times where people have actually seen him perform. So I don't think he's a bad player. I don't even necessarily think he cheated. I think it's possible, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. There's many possibilities of what could have happened. He could have played on a machine that had MAME in it and he didn't know, which in my opinion, that wouldn't make him a cheater. He was just oblivious to the fact that he played on a machine that played MAME. And you can't hold that against him. But like you said earlier, the score would have to be either recategorized or removed accordingly. Either way. But one of the things that I said is if he cheated, and that's a big if. I think it's a case of, like, when you look at athletes, for example, I've said this many times. A lot of times, like, an athlete won't utilize performance-enhancing drugs to get into the sport. They use it to give them that extra edge. They've reached the peak of their performance where they feel they can't get any farther, and then they'll utilize performance-enhancing drugs to exceed their peak, basically. Mm-hmm. And I think that some competitors, not just, the possibility of Billy, but I think a lot of players potentially will use cheats or underhanded tactics like that to give them that extra edge to stay on top. And so that's one thing I want to state is I don't necessarily know if he cheated, but I think if he did, that would have been his strategy. Not to say that he wasn't a good player to get to where he was at that point, but if he did cheat, that's probably why he would do it, so he could, stay ahead of the curve. Like I said, like an athlete would do if they use performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, would you agree that would be a possibility?
That's a anything's a possibility. It's not like Billy's not God. He's not Jesus. So I'm not gonna sit here oblivious to the fact that, oh, come on, Trevor, you think Billy's not capable of no evil? No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just based on my experience with him, based on what I know, based on what I've seen. I don't think that he played MAME or anything like that. I think he actually played the arcade, and it's something we're missing why his game is not producing the images under the investigation to find out what he's playing under. But I could also be wrong, and he could have been playing MAME and didn't know it the whole time. I sat there and I said, it is actually possible, Travis, because this happened to you. I swear to God I was playing the US version of the arcade game I set the record on. I was reading US text, played just like the arcade I played in previous times or whatever. It skipped past me, so I was like, it's very possible. So I'm like, you know something? Well, let them do the investigation. Let's find out what it is. When we find out what it is, and we'll just have to address it, adjust and address from that from there forward.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you had talked to Billy that if it does, they do find in their investigation that he used MAME, that you had advised him on how he should, approach that. If you don't mind me asking, like, what advice did you give to him?
I told him if the conclusion is MAME, well, you have to prove your legacy that you can get 1 million points on the arcade, and I told him you may want to start. It's come the what's the word for the conclusion of the dispute is coming up soon. You may want to get back in the lab and start playing the arcade games. When I left Florida a day ago, he actually stopped by the arcade and stuff like that. Well, he had to buy my ticket to go home anyway. So and after sending me, getting my ticket to go home, he actually started playing a couple games. He's like, I think I'm gonna get back into the game, like hardcore. And I was like, do that, save or record your game or whatever, get it on there, just have that ready so you can vindicate yourself whatever from whatever's coming. Because if he's proven wrong, a lot of people are just gonna say he's a cheater outright. They're just gonna cheater. Just gonna bear it down on him, and he's gonna need to be able to. No one is. It doesn't matter if Twin Galaxies come out. Although we do not find Billy Mitchell guilty as a cheater, we do find it that Billy Mitchell did play on MAME. No one is going to want to hear what Twin Galaxies has to say. They're going to come up with, they're just protecting Billy because Billy is the cornerstone of Twin Galaxies and blah, blah, blah. And then the comparison and the guys with pitchforks and fires and, kill him, lynch him. They're just going to all be out the window and all that other stuff. So the only thing Billy can do to silence that crowd is just have an arcade game 1 million points ready. And that's it.
I mean, let's be completely honest here. I mean, as someone like myself who's had a presence online for over 11 years now, and I have my own groups of people who don't like me or they have their opinions on me, negative opinions or whatever. It doesn't matter what Billy does. He's never going to satisfy them. If it turns out that, so let's say they do find, okay, the score, it was on MAME, so we have to pull the score. And he decides, okay, I'm going to prove myself again. I'm going to get another 1 million point score. When he posts that score, he can take every avenue to prove that 100% that it's legit. He's never going to satisfy them. So,
no, he's not trying to satisfy them. He was just he's trying to satisfy Twin Galaxies. That's it. He's just doing it because he wants to get it on Twin Galaxies' record, so it doesn't invalidate his legacy. He could care less what other people think. That's not going to stop Billy Mitchell's fame. Billy Mitchell is the most powerful player in classic gaming ever. There's a reason why he got the title Player of the Century. We could say the man is in a sense like Donald Trump. All this negative news. Yo, my man, we was at the Kong off. Yo, with all of this coming out, you would have thought someone would have walked up to Billy and said, run your pockets and pull out a gun on him. People were shaking hands with him, hugging him. Girls, Billy, pictures. There was an interview with Billy and Steve Wiebe that I have to upload. And Steve Wiebe and him is chilling. They're both talking about each other's kids and what school they go to. And you're like, wait a minute. Where's all this? He's the most evil person. That doesn't work on Billy. Billy's persona is beyond that. He can overpower that easily on some Jedi Force thing. Like, you don't hate me. I don't hate you. Excellent. and then move
Yeah,
forward.
exactly. That's how detractors are, my dude. I mean, I can tell you firsthand. I went to a local convention where I live in Southern California, and there was somebody who, oh, hey, I watch your YouTube videos. I really like what you do. You're really cool. Just kind of wanted to say hi, that sort of thing. And the funny thing about it is someone who was there with me, he's like, hey, you know that troll who's always like posting really negative shit on your videos? That guy that just shook your hand and stuff, that's him. It's like, that's really funny, So I mean, yeah, that's how people are. They talk a bunch of shit when they're hiding behind the anonymity of the internet. But I mean, in person, like they don't act like that.
And then they don't act like that. So you're just sitting there like, what? Huh?
Can I ask a
How?
quick question?
Yes, jump in with the question.
All right, so this is like all the way back on old news, but the 24 frame thing. I'm curious, why would save states create 24 frames when save states are just saved states? All they do is go back to the actual state where the game is on. So in order for there to be more frames, it would have to be spliced, right?
Not exactly. Not exactly. Not the way MAME works. Essentially, like if you utilized multiple save states in a particular section, the MAME replay is designed in a way where it completely disregards any sections of the game where you used a save state. However, if you use multiple save states on a particular section of the game, it creates this anomaly in MAME where brief moments of those replays do get captured, are, I guess, replays, kind of, it's a redundant word in this case, but I don't know what better word to use. Sections of the game you replayed, if you did it multiple times, it has this anomaly where it catches like the brief few frames at the the of wherever you restarted this frame.
Stacks it on
exactly,
top.
exactly.
Okay.
But that would only happen in a section of a game where you utilize that save state multiple times.
And so the question would be, how many frames does it stack? And then you would have to, that would be the amount of times. But you said this only happened in one part of the game. And that's
right.
That's if. You're not saying this is. That's if that's what the save states is. This is just the theory.
I mean, that is what save states is, but what I was saying, that's if he used MAME in this case. That could be an indicator that MAME was used.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that to me, I think that's a fair assessment. I don't think that's anything okay.
So, but I gotta get running. But before I go, I just I want to thank you for inviting me on. I mean, like I said, we don't agree on a lot of things, but hey, you know what? I'm always open to hearing other people's opinions and sharing my own, and I respect other people's opinions. I may disagree with them, but hey, you know what? I have a lot of respect for people and their opinions. So, same thing with like Billy Mitchell. I mean, I'll say this, it kind of stung a little bit when he said what he said last year, because I was actually a fan of Billy's. Well, I wouldn't say I was. I would say I am still. I really admire what he has achieved throughout his life, and he was an inspiration for me to submit my own scores to the Twin Galaxies database. You
just didn't like what he said.
Yeah, I didn't like what he said. That's it.
That happens. Trust me.
At the end of the day, as someone who has scores in the Twin Galaxies database, I want to know that database is accurate and there's integrity to back that database. And so all I want to happen, whether it proves that Billy used MAME or not, is I want a very thorough investigation to find whatever conclusion they come to, so that it can protect the integrity of the database.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Time out. Before you ask that question, Cyrus Martin, that's your friend, right?
Yeah, he's my dude.
Oh, he's in the chat.
Yeah, I saw him. What's up, buddy?
I just noticed he was in the chat, so I just want to point him out.
I just wanted to ask, because I'm not familiar. What did Billy say a year ago that you weren't a fan of?
Well, it was last year. He based on a report that Tipster put out, based on some information that was inaccurate to a certain degree. Because some of it was right, but there was a misleading part by a certain yeah, you know who we're talking about. I'm sorry.
Catherine Despira. I'll just say it.
Yeah, I know.
I know you don't want to say it, but I'll say it, man.
Okay, there you go. So he had misreported certain things, and then Billy, being on the attack, automatically went to the defensive and said that he hates how people are bad journalists and some other stuff. I don't remember. I just know it's the whole bad journalist.
he said I have loser syndrome. He was mixing me up with the rest of the detractors that don't like him.
Oh yeah, pretty
So he
much.
said I have loser syndrome, and that I was a poor journalist. But one of the things I always contended is that I've never claimed to be a journalist. I'm a commentator.
And that's fair. That's
But anyway, that's it's in
yeah.
the past. It's not a big deal.
All right, yo, thank you for coming through, Tipster. I'm going to move on to the third and final segment of this supposed
Yes,
2-hour stream. Apparently.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, man. We'll talk another time, all right?
All right, take it easy, buddy.
Okay.
Have a good one, man.
Have a good one. Oh, as we close out with Tipster, Baraka Play jumps in with another $5. Thanks for the donation, Baraka. And Cyrus, what's going on? Thanks for joining us and hanging out with the conversation. Let me go put this juice back inside the refrigerator. It's completely melted. I gotta shake it up so we can get all that. Oh, Triforce, you idiot!
What did he do? Did it spill?
I just spilt the damn juice all over the place. I'm a moron. All right, guys, give me give me like 3 minutes. Let me go clean up the juice and put it back in the fridge, and then we're gonna start on the third and final part of this segment in the Invisible War, because there will be more. The FGC. Yes.
Man, I missed Uncle Fester, man.
Hold on.
Yo, Hands, you need to get a PC like freaking Nino Kuni runs fucking beautiful on the PS3 emulator.
No.
You're fighting it, but one day you're gonna get it and you're gonna realize.
This dude's about to try to clap me.
You're playing Fortnite?
Yeah, we just got done.
No, A train. I'm gonna get the 2400G. I'm gonna get an AIO water cool. I'm gonna get the DDR 3200 FlareX RAM, because that's the best frequency RAM to work with the Ryzen APUs. And then I'm just gonna overclock it as much as I possibly can, and then yeah, I'll just run Nino Kuni.
The APU
Like-
runs at what, like a 1050 Ti? That's what it runs at?
A little bit depends on the game. Not a 1050 Ti, but the APU either runs at or above a 1030, or actually no, either just under or at a 1030,
Okay,
without
so
having
you
to
get
buy the
1080 usually, right? I don't know what the 1030 produces game as far as gaming results go.
Let's put it this way. I can run, for example, Fortnite with the setup I have and the overclock. I can get Fortnite running at 1080p medium settings at an average of 56 FPS.
Okay, that's not bad.
And then with PUBG, I can get that at an average of 54 FPS
I'm
with
back.
720p low settings. So it's definitely playable. It's all playable.
Question. I never got the stream link to the new Fortnite stream.
Hans stopped playing because Rage quit. Pauldron and I are going to play. I put the link in the
You
announcement.
just gotta make it seem like I just raged.
He said, why
Don't
you
do
make
that.
Right, so
Face it,
the FGC time.
we want nothing.
I just farted. I'm sorry. That was so unprofessional on this mainstream. Why did I tell everyone that? I think that was just like unnecessary. But anyway, okay. So let me get that stream, because we want to go into the. I'm honestly, I'm only gonna take 45 minutes on this one. I really don't want to go through the long-winded stuff about the FGC.
So if you go on so many tangents, it's definitely gonna be over 45 minutes.
No. We covered this fairly. We started talking with Tipster about the Billy Mitchell thing. We spent an hour on that. We spent about 45 minutes on EMP's legacy being omitted by the Score eSports, which we then found funny, because if you're looking at the stream right now, the Score eSports puts out iconic eSports moment. Justin Wong's marvelous comeback. Now this, oh man, this doesn't make sense. iconic esports moment. It's an iconic moment in esports. But he's wearing a shirt that says EMP. This is the it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense. It really just doesn't. That right there like makes me sit there and go, I just roll my eyes like, okay.
Copyright infringement. You use.
To me, I look at it like this. Look, if they're gonna use any footage of us or any of our former players, as long as they give credit, I don't care. I'm not one of those people gonna chase down people for copyright infringements. I'm not one of those people. I gotta protect my whatever. That's such a lie. There's no protecting of no nothing. You gotta give the credit, man. You gotta give the credit. If you're making money off of it, then we gotta share those profits. Something. But then I'm all for people trying to get their history out there. I just find it like so messed up that like we were omitted in the history of Justin Wong. We were completely omitted from it. Yet they went around and they used the footage. I just didn't like that. Hey guys, I'll send here ASAP. Seems like it might not come at the moment, but I'll definitely get it out for you. I'm at work, so expect the delivery anytime this morning. So let me see something. Delivering to... Okay, so guys, guess what? Apparently T-Belly is getting us Kirby All-Stars for the Switch. So stay woke, my brothers.
Yo, T-Belly's the man hooking you up with Kirby.
Yes, I actually want to play the game. Thank you, T-Belly.
It's alright. It ain't bad, but it's...
You have to play that game.
It's fun with people.
It's fun with
people. You and Sasha.
Oh no, me and Sasha are 2 girls. We're gonna definitely play that.
Yeah, I got the song for them.
Okay, so Miss comes in 3:20 Eastern time in the morning to troll me with a $1.35 donation and tells me fight the good fights, but he puts us at 666. You know something? I'm starting to think really you guys are some Satan worshippers. For real. That's just real talk, B. And sorry about the Best Buy website delays. They always take long. Now, don't worry about it, T-Belly.
I praise our Lord and Savior known as Rudy Freddy.
Well, all right, let's get to it. A-Train, where you at? You in here? Oh, he's not in here. Oh, he's no, there he is. Oh, yo, we're gonna talk about the FGC, B. Come on, you gotta be here for this. Yes, Baraka playing counters, combo breaker, godlike. Thank you, Baraka. I know Mrs. like you, mother. All right, so late night snacks by hands. All right, so A-Train, have you heard the newest news in the FGC?
I've been out of it.
Oh, you've been on VR crack. VR chat. I'm sorry.
VR crack. You right?
VR crack. That's what it's called. Okay.
Yeah.
So
he's been busy playing tic-tac-toe with some anime girls.
So apparently, final round is closed.
Oh yeah. I saw the Wolfram picture on that. Okay, yeah, I know about that.
So now, I read an article on Event Hubs that states that Larry is leaning towards retirement. So I don't think it's officially closed, but he's leaning towards retirement, and the reason why is due to lack of turnout. Huh?
Because of his event sucking.
But when did his event start sucking?
The last 3 years.
When can you point out a time when it started to suck?
When it started to suck?
His event started to go downhill after the whole.
I think it was like Ultra Street Fighter 4. Oh yeah, the Jabali situation. That was, what was that, Street Fighter 5 or was that early Street Fighter 4?
Street Fighter 5. No, the launch of Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, that was the worst year they had because people hated it, and then the next year, like, nobody showed up.
So,
and then next year, I guess it sucked too. But
let me ask you a question, right? A lot of people want to blame Alex Jabali. I saw Alex Jabali at Magfest. We spoke for a little bit. I'm going to tell you guys something right now. If you think Alex Jabali is the man behind the plan, best believe I've been saying it since the moment that hit the fan. Listen, guys, that was a hit job. That was a hit job from jump.
By
There,
who?
huh?
Like they had so many players complaining that first year. Like there's no way that could be a hit job. That's like maybe the up and coming years after.
Hold on.
First year.
Miss is being there's Miss donates $9 to get it back to 666. He says there's
Nuh-uh.
he says there's no Satan worshiping here. None at all. Now, where is my sacrificial goat?
Hey, nice.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god, right?
Try first. You should just have a Google Chrome tab open, so whenever there's 666 in a donation, you just change the Google Chrome to a picture of Baphomet.
Right? And then angels. You know something? That is
Do it right now. Just put Baphomet on the go to Google Images.
let me see something here. All right. Let's see Google and Baphomet. Wait, BH what? Spell his name.
Baphomet.
Oh wow, you know how to spell Satan's name? That's crazy.
It's not Satan. It's not Satan.
Oh well, I wouldn't know how to spell this thing's name. So yeah, so I'm not putting this on the stream. People are gonna think I'm a devil worshiper. Hold on, time out. Wait a minute. No. Wait, I just thought it just dawned on me. Wait, what? Why am I having that guy on the stream? No.
Put it on the stream.
No.
You're scared? You're saying you're scared, Triforce?
Yes, I'm scared. Yep. I don't want nightmares.
We should never be scared of the white devil, my brothers and sisters.
That guy ain't white, he's red. So first of all, alright. In any event, going back to the thing, so you think that's the only time final round has sucked?
No, it sucked multiple years. Even back in Street Fighter 4, I've had so many friends complain about final round.
So here is the question. What led to it to just fall apart?
Because when you're okay, so I think it's mainly the Capcom Pro Tour, because before that it wasn't any, like, it was a major, but it wasn't the first tournament of the tournament season, right? So it sucking was like, man, it sucks, but cool, it's a tournament. Now that it's the first stop on the Capcom Pro Tour, it's been that since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it sucking makes it look really bad, because everyone's like, yes, first premiere of the year, let's go. And it sucks, like, every year. So that's on him.
So you think that's on the tournament organizer himself? You think that's on Larry?
The tournament sucks, like, consistently for, like, the last couple years.
All right. So let's get into this topic.
Kind of Shinblaka, he was so butthurt when Jabali brought up the issues that he was getting on about final round. When Jabali, let's ignore the possibilities of Jabali trying to shut him down for CEO, which makes no sense because their events are so far apart.
Mm-hmm.
But let's assume everything's clean play, everyone's playing for the good team, right? All Jabali did was, at that situation, was like, yo, I'm hearing this, that, the third. What's up? That's literally what he did. And then Shinblaka got butthurt, and he got a bad name for himself. Or I guess he slowly was building it, but he got a bad name specifically in that situation because he got butthurt that Jabali was like, what's going on? I'm hearing this from all these players. At least that's how the first final round for Street Fighter V went.
Okay. Well, I believe something completely different. The fighting game community, I left a post on my wall. It was talking about intellectual properties. Let me double check to make sure a couple of people are now contacting me. Okay, so wow, the whole time Todd was messaging me. Ah, crap. Sorry, I'm checking my messages.
It's
while
on Facebook. I mean, sorry, it's on the stream right now. Just
No,
in
no,
case you were.
no, I know it was on the stream. I'm not showing anything private or anything like that. The fighting game community, I told everyone that now that the suits are here, all of the fighting game tournaments are going to turn into qualifiers for the new premiers that are literally taking over the brand, with the exception of Evo. And it won't be long before Evo will eventually collapse into it, because the reality is that the people who make the games, they're the ultimate winners in the end. People are going to go away where the games are. That's the reality. It's not long before Namco. Capcom already realizes it, or anyone else goes, why do we have these people running these video game tournaments for us when we can build our own?
What the game companies that make these fighting games want to do is what Riot Games has.
Yes.
Wait, so can I answer that question? Because
Sure.
it's actually a very good question.
Sure.
It's the same reason why Riot has all these. I don't know if they have LCS, but they have all these different events because they could.
Yeah, they own LCS. They run it. The
Riot.
casters are all Riot hired.
Let's ignore the LCS then. I'm talking about all these separate leagues where they pay to get the rights to be able to use Riot name. That's what they want. So final round shutting down because of that doesn't really make sense because they're losing out on a revenue stream.
No. See, here's a problem. It is a different situation when you make the comparison between FGC and the LCS. The problem with Riot does not have that problem because prior to Riot, no scene exists. So they built their scene from the ground up.
That's not true. StarCraft and also.
I am talking about MOBA games.
But they
okay.
The genre. MOBA games. There was no MOBA scene before League. Well, you had Dota, but their game, both of those games are mods. So they're not even original games. So
well, Dota's a mod. League of Legends and Dota 2 are not mods.
Alright, continue.
No, I'm going to correct that. I'm just finding the right words. Dota 2 and League of Legends are inspired from a mod in Dota, which comes from
Warcraft. Yeah.
So, the children's of a mod is a mod. I'll just say it like that. Anyway, the point is, the scene didn't have an actual third party, second or first party scene that promoted that game competitively. It didn't. I guess you would say PvP. No, you wouldn't even say. You just have to say Blizzard with Warcraft, right? And they came in, they built their own game based on that game, the origin, and they were able to control the scene because they controlled the game, control the players, control the teams, which is really franchising teams, and they own everything. And anyone who wants to be in on it has to license the brand. Capcom, unfortunately, watched their scene competitively grow for over a decade before they got involved.
Before they did anything, it just grew by itself.
Are you kidding? Is that a question or you're...
No, he's reaffirming your statement.
Are you agreeing or you're questioning?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just asking. I don't. What do you want me to do? Jump down your throat? I want to make sure. The way you said it, it looked like you was questioning that. I didn't know you were agreeing, so I'm going to ask you. All right, cool.
Okay, that's fine.
So now Capcom, it's very difficult for Capcom to bully their way in. They're going to get bad reception from the community if they just came in and say, this is our game and we're taking over. People what they're scared of, people go, okay, word, if it's going to be like that, we just won't play your games. We'll play your competitors' games, whether it may be King of Fighters, whether it may be Mortal Kombat, or any of the other games that are out there right now. People in the fighting game communities already know this about Capcom. They already know. Like at the Capcom Cup, the way they treated Marvel vs. Capcom at Capcom Cup last year, if they had did that, if Marvel vs. Capcom, if they treated Marvel, hold on for a second, Miss donates $10. He says, dude, every victory is lit. DEVI, wow. Guys, you saw what you saw what Miss wrote? Like, you know something, he couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself on that donation. He literally wrote devil in his donation. Literally. He actually came up with a way to actually write a message that wrote devil. These Da Vinci Code, these Da Vinci Code messages.
Trevor, look, we got 666 right there. We need to buff him on the screen.
People who are watching this stream and those who will watch the pre-recording, Empire Arcadia is not a satanic organization, and we do not subscribe to satanic worship or things of satanic meaning. Thank you.
Yeah.
The opinions of our donators and their satanic donations are not a reflection of Empire Arcadia. Thank you. That has to be prefaced.
We do not worship Satan or the devil. We worship Lucifer, the true.
What? I have to now take that out of my stream. Stop. Anyway.
I'm joking.
Okay, so going back to the thing, but like Capcom. Thank you, Baraka. And he says, not on my watch. Yes! We got the forces of good in here. The forces of good are in here fighting back. Thank you, Baraka. So, I just had to smile because, yes, I was like, come on, someone, please save us.
Yabube, yabube, yabube.
Oh my God, here comes Phil. Actually,
Yabube.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here.
The forces of evil will prevail. Yabube.
We're talking about final round, and it's extinguished. Whatever. Going back, let me just finish the first comment that I was making regarding. See, now I think I lost my. What was the last thing I said? I was talking about final round.
Yeah, boop.
Capcom bullying their way in.
Oh, bullying their way in. Thank you. If Capcom had did what they did with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite 10 years ago, they would have gotten away with it. When Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was introduced, I'm sorry, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is a bad game. But they got away with it. Why? What was Marvel vs. Capcom's competition? No one. At that time, Capcom ruled the airwaves. When they made that sad product of a game, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and they did what they did at Capcom Cup with Marvel vs. Capcom, everyone was like, word? And Namco said, we got you. Capcom's a little bit slow, but we got you. How about this product? And Blue Magic hit the scene. And when Blue Magic hit the scene, the Fiends was on the corner. And they was like, sorry, Capcom, but yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom is the largest intellectual property in fighting game history. And it has done something unprecedented. There needs to be a
I'm pretty sure Street Fighter is...
No. In the fighting game community, let me explain this to you. In the beginning of the fighting game community, Street Fighter was the king. When Marvel vs. Capcom 2 hit the scene, it became God. And Marvel vs. Capcom ruled the fighting game scene for a decade. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out. The game wasn't that great. Street Fighter 4 was introduced. They were like, nah, Street Fighter took over again. Everyone was expecting great things from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and unfortunately, they did not get that. And in this day and age, you can't you can't rest on your laurels. Because when Dragon Ball Fighter Z dropped, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite should get a new Guinness World Record for the largest intellectual property in fighting game history to have died so fast. That game is dead. It died.
Well, Infinite is dead, but they can always come out with a new game, can't they?
No one cares now. With what you're seeing in Dragon Ball, if Namco wants to, Namco can hold back on all the DLCs. You have to understand, they're dropping a new movie. You have Jiren, you have Toppo, you have Broly, you have Bardock, you have King Vegeta. They have so many characters that they can. Oh wow, Mist is being a scumbag.
I mean, Trevor, that's true,
Hold on,
but at the same
Mist, I
time,
have to read this donation from Mist. Viewers, listen to him. We are not affiliated with Satan worshippers. Now offer your firstborn to us. It will bring order to the...
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Wait, first of all, stop talking like that. People are thinking you're playing some recording backwards and saying some Satan worshiping. Oh, here comes Baraka play with $1 again. Oh, the counter. Thank you, Baraka.
Perfect timing.
Mist and KDZ is not helping this stream whatsoever. I'm gonna mute you. This is too much.
Did you miss a donation?
What do you mean I missed a donation?
I thought I seen one come up. You didn't say.
Let me double check.
Baraka plays.
No, Baraka Play just donated and counted the 999 or the 666.
So, just since we're on the topic of like donations for like a quick second,
No,
I see one called Breath of the Wild sucks. Is that Sahil?
That has to be Sahil.
Yeah. Okay, just want to make sure.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
before missed donation. Just double check and make sure.
I'm double checking before missed donations. It was Baraka Play again.
Friends, raise up your arms and prepare for the ritual.
No, keep that out of here.
Yo,
Nah.
we're gonna listen. All right.
We need to do our ancient chants.
You guys are making this worse than it has to be.
People who are watching the stream.
You guys are horrible. This is so bad.
Listen.
White Devil.
24.
This is getting so demonic. And
I have muted the stream from hearing the desktop audio. I'm sorry. I want to apologize to everyone watching this. These guys are getting out of hand, and right now you can't hear what they're saying, but I'm listening to them, and it has gotten out of hand now. It has gotten out of hand, folks. Going back. Stop it. Stop it. Come on, guys. Come on. Behave yourself. We're getting out of hand. Where people are going to take it for real now. And I don't want them to say Triforce. It's bad enough they say EMP has done all this extra stuff. Now it's going to be like, see, I told you, EMP actually has a cult. All right. Yeah. No, really? No one's seriously going to say it? All right, when Sahil, how much you want to bet? I'll bet you $10. It'll be in the comments. I guess you could. So either he's possessed or making a guy really happy. Whoa. Someone wrote that in the chat. But getting we're digressing. We're digressing, guys. Getting back to this thing. I told everyone. Oh, hold on. I can unmute you guys. I've told everyone that already what was going to happen. The fighting game companies are going to get involved. When they build their infrastructure on top of the FGC community's infrastructure for esports, the FGC will have to adapt to the new infrastructure or die. That's the reality behind it, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is what's going to happen. And if people don't conform, well, this is how it is. This is business. This is not Triforce. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not a prophet. I'm not the Messiah. I'm not reading into anything that other people can't read. This is just the way how the industry works. N. Hernandez says, Triforce, in King of Chinatown, they said you wanted to sign Gutex. I feel that wasn't true. That guy was in a glorified Whoa. Did you really want to sign him? Yes, it's true. I wanted to sign Gutex. At the time when Gutex was there, I actually was interested in signing Gutex because I liked the type of persona he had, and I felt he could become a good content creator for EMP. So it is true. I wanted to sign Gutex and Mike Ross.
And Gutex and Mike Ross were winning back then too.
Well, I didn't care about them winning, to be honest with you. I just thought they were good content creators. I saw past their gaming skills. But, yeah. So, and for Hernandez, it is true. I'm not going to lie to you. But, so, the question here is, now that final round is down, or going down, who's next? I want you guys' thoughts. Big E? You think Big E's next?
Yes, 100%.
I've been said it was big. But hold on.
Here's the thing about Big E. I see so many goddamn complaints about Big E events, like from people in the community mainly, obviously.
But then, okay.
Like, I have a lot of friends, and they all complain about Big E events.
Let Triforce interject something that people can construe as race baiting. Those are the two largest and longest standing black tournament organizers in fighting game history. Why them two?
Because their tournaments suck. Big E events are run like shit. Final round as a whole was run like shit. Like, I literally in the next level Discord, like when they came back from, I forget what tournament, I think it was Winter Brawl. They're like, yeah, I'm not going next year. Their events suck.
Okay, KDZ, are you here? Sorry, honey. KDZ, where are you?
Yeah, he left after all the demonic chanting.
Remember?
He went. Oh my goodness, he came in and left, but he went to final round and he went to Winter Brawl. I needed his input. Come on, man.
Somebody add him on. I'll add him on Discord.
On my way.
Yeah, because remember, I'm getting mine from third party.
Someone call him, please. Oh, there he is.
There is he in the VC? He's not in the VC. Yeah. Terminal thickness.
Oh, good. So Zuru is streaming on Twitch now. So now I can just grab him on his game.
Let me DM him.
Oh, you know what? What is that? Absolute Battle that's in Texas? I can see that one going down next.
So, okay, King Joker. Big E, maybe. But there's gonna be more FGC players dropping out from eSports teams. Hey, Splice left. It was Splice and who else?
All right, so here's the thing about, I say this all the time. All these esports teams, whether they come in or they're homegrown, well, especially homegrown ones. Homegrown FGC teams are always gonna die. There's nothing to change it. The FGC
does that include Empire Arcadia?
Well, you guys branched out into other things. The thing about, like, let's see, PDP, freaking, what was it, AGE? That's what Fnatic was a part of.
Mm-hmm. But that's AGE and PDP is the same team.
Yeah, my bad. You're right. Who are all these other whatever? You've seen them. They've all come and go. They've all sponsored like Chris G, like repeatedly, and a bunch of other people.
Isn't Korn another one?
Korn doesn't count.
Oh, we're gonna get into that in a second. Miss donates again, brings it back. Hold on, listen to this. Miss donates another, and he says, "He's not our prophet, he's our savior, our truth. He will light the way with hellfire." I mean, hold on, what's the name for this? The donation went away. I'm just gonna read his donation. I have to read all donations. He will light the way with fire. I mean, with light. Join our brethren. Anyway, whatever.
Suspicious.
All right,
the fire and brimstone will cleanse us all.
Let me comment on Korn. Korn, for the most part, mid-level players besides for 2 players.
Whoa!
That's low. No, okay, wait, time out. I'm not saying they're ass. I'll never say they were all ass because most of them were. But what I'm saying is that Low was a champion, and
Timeout. Side games dropped Snake Eyes.
Oh, really?
MJG just said yes. Snake Eyes got dropped. Punk dropped out from Panda Global Gaming. Knuckle Doo left Team Liquid.
Why would he leave Team Liquid?
He just left. He left Team Liquid. PG picked up infiltration.
Anyway, back to Corn.
Yeah.
I feel like
Hold on,
Go on, H. Go on.
Corn had two major players. They had Alucard, who left, and they had Seth Lololo, who was good at cross-teching. Rest in peace, that game. So it's like, once Alucard left, they lost pretty much their main breadwinners in the team. And then they either lost interest or got mad at eSports or whatever, and then they fizzled out after that. Like, when Alucard moved to New York, Corn was dead.
So, all right. And now, Sahil, before I get back to replying to him regarding Corn, say what you have to say.
No, mine isn't directly related to Corn, so say what you have to say first.
Okay, so, did you hear, I don't know if you kept your eye on Facebook, did you hear the argument? There was an argument with regarding Corn and Empire Arcadia. Chris Carey says that I was trying to undermine Corn from moving up in the FGC.
What?
Yep. Big conversation on Facebook about it. I joined in the conversation and said that I would like to address their situation on the On Blast show. And I want to bring some members of EMP in it because apparently there's conversations that they say that they have about me that they read where I tried to purposely undermine and destroy Corn.
That makes no sense because Corn was actually a team.
Well, according to Chris Carey, he says that's what he has, and I would like to see this conversation myself because I did my best to stay away or out of the way of Corn or anyone involving in Corn just because of their name. And that's not secrets or anything. That's public information. I've told Corn, like, Empire Arcadia cannot associate ourselves with you when you have the name Coalition of the Real. Like, we can't. It's just the reality. We can't get involved in that because you are playing into the stereotypes that people see black people, and I can't represent that. So,
but nonsense. Corn died because they lost Alucard. That's just a fact.
Well, we're gonna be on the On Blast show on Tuesday, and I hope you come in the room and say that because I guess I'm the Empire Arcadia is a scapegoat.
It's just not that either. One of the players that they had, Ninja CW.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good friend of mine, and I grew up with him.
Didn't he die?
The DOA. Yeah, he died. So one of the players died. So that was a situation kind of like similar to EMP, like when we lost Remix.
Yes.
And that was a very good friend of mine, good guy. But yeah, that just really sucks.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But even at the end of the day, like, Corn had Alucard, who was winning tournaments. They had Seth Lololo, who was winning in cross-teching. And we only remember All Caps because he was loud. So, like, once Alucard was gone, again, their remaining player after cross-teching died who wins. It's like, what happens after that? And plus the eSports push and banning all this other stuff really made it hard for them to even attempt to grow in this eSports world.
So, a lot of teams are dying, right? The first major is closing since when the last major closed. Is this spelling the end and the doom of the FGC?
No,
Why do
No,
you
I don't
say?
think it is.
because you can't or you can shut down every. There could be no more majors ever for the FGC. As long as people are willing to go somewhere to play,
Hmm.
like the FGC is not dead. So that's why I hate when people say if Street Fighter 5 dies, then the FGC is dead. No, that makes no sense because people are still going to go out to compete in some sort of scale for fighting games. So it's fine.
So can I say
Say what
something?
you have to say. Say what you have to say, Sahil, because Hernandez says he wants to hear what I have to say. So go on.
Okay. This is from before, but I got reminded of it because of what A Train said. He just mentioned Street Fighter Five. You know how you said that because of Infinite, the franchise is just dead because Bandai Namco just has everything under wraps and nobody cares anymore.
Oh no,
Um,
that's not why it died. It died because their launch sucked, and then
yeah,
a
no, I know
competitor
they're launch.
came
Yeah,
out
yeah, no,
and launched
yeah.
behind them with a superior product.
No, I get that, but what I'm asking though is with Street Fighter Five, I haven't played either game, but from what I hear people talk about, Street Fighter Four was a vastly better or more balanced game, from what I
Okay, so
hear,
let me let me let
than
me address
Street Fighter Five, right? So Street Fighter Five was an inferior product than Four, but Street Fighter Five hasn't died. The franchise isn't dead. Even if Five was a more mediocre title, when Six comes out, everybody's just gonna flock to it,
So here's
like
my
it
let me
happens
question.
with
address
everything.
that.
Here's my
Let me address
question.
that.
What's the counter? What is the op? What is
What is it?
the alternative option to Street Fighter Five right now?
There's no alternative.
That is
But
why
that
Street Fighter Five is still alive. Guess what? The
and let me
alternate option to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Dragon Ball
Dragon
Fighter
Ball.
Z. That is why
Do
it
wait,
died.
I have a question. I'm assuming that Guilty Gear and Blue are anime fighters, right?
They
They
are. But the reason why Guilty Gear and those other games doesn't get the burn of Dragon Ball is because they're not commercial branded. They're not pop culture iconic IPs. You know what Dragon Ball Fighter Z is? It's Guilty Gear with Dragon Ball skins. That's what it is. It's
okay.
this literally that's what it is. So and then what they've done is that they've taken some of the greatest elements from a ton of different fighting games and merged them all into it. And then I'm not a graphics guy, but come on, it looks like we're watching the anime, and
Yeah,
that's a plus.
it's
And if you look at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, it's like a girl that doesn't respect herself.
Very
That's
much
just
so.
uh
that's the
yeah.
facts, B. The graphics. It looks like a girl that just doesn't respect herself. Like it's just it's the real. That I'm sorry. That looks. What was Capcom thinking? Anyway, SNK Heroines. I'm sorry. That game sucks.
That game is just a like a joke game.
That game
They
is just
spent like
something to say, hey guys, here's it on the Switch. That's
yeah,
all
here's
it
something for the
is.
Switch.
Here's
Have
something for the
fun.
Switch. Have fun.
Have fun for like the 2,000 people that are gonna buy this
What
game.
they in the fighting game community, you know what they call it? Poverty fighters.
Poverty.
Yeah, it's called a poverty fighting game. And the poverty people will pick it up and play those games. Where is? Oh my goodness.
So what's that game called? Bloody something. That's also kind of niche.
Bloody Roar.
No, not Bloody Roar. It's like it's bloody. Okay, never mind. I can't remember. It's bloody something or something bloody.
Melty Blood.
Melty Blood. Yeah, is that a poverty fighter or is that
Yes,
like
that's a poverty fighter. So,
okay?
MJG says, "What are your thoughts on Tekken 7?" My thoughts on Tekken 7. Namco doesn't need. First of all, when it comes to Tekken or 3D fighters, unfortunately, 3D fighters are not controlled in the American FGC. It's controlled in the Korean FGC, and they don't need the American FGC at all. In fact, the American FGC begs to be in it. Facts. They don't need it. Tekken, since they made Tekken Crash and other Tekken esports channels and Tekken World Championships, they don't need anybody. They don't need the American FGC. They don't need Evo. They don't need nothing. Then they don't ask for it either. Triforce, what do you think the FGC has to do to get on World Series of Poker level? They have to franchise esports teams within the FGC, which they won't do because for instance, Empire Arcadia is the FGC's first esports team. They can deny it all they want, but we are. Facts. That's not an opinion. That's why they try to omit stuff regarding Justin Wong. A person called Jesus donated $1.11 and said you rang. I broke the 666 and made 777. Oh man, you gotta love the donators on this channel, boy. For those wondering why is these different, there's a Satan versus Jesus war going on in our donation thread. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Praise Jesus, everyone. Praise Jesus. So, going on to the whole thing, in order for the FGC to do that, the FGC needs to start categorizing. Here comes Baraka play, and he says, "Jesus, my man, thank you for the $1 donation." In order for them to do that, they need to take all the fighting game esports branded teams and franchise them, just like what the LCS does, just like what MLG does. But the problem is that, first of all, the fighting game community is fragmented. And I said this to Blood Red earlier, and you're going to start seeing running it around, but I'm the one who coined the frame. It's no longer called the FGC, it's called the FGT, Fighting Game Tribes. The fighting game community hasn't been a community for like a decade now. It's just a whole bunch of tribes between the different brands.
The word you're looking for is cliques.
No. Tribes. It's tribes. It's not cliques. Because cliques is within the tribes. I call it tribes because each fighting game brand, like Soul Calibur, Dragon Ball, Tekken, that's one tribe. Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter, that's another tribe. Arc System Games, well, I guess you could say Arc System Games, that's another tribe. And Smash Brothers and ARMS, another tribe. It's all these fragmented elements. There is no one cohesive infrastructure that can say, okay, we're going to respect all these different teams in the scene and legitimize them within our esports network. They don't do that. They don't care about that. The cliques will say, don't work with that esports team. Why? Because X, Y, and Z, and they'll just do that, and they don't understand that hurts the scene. What you want is to work with everyone. Let someone do something that is inappropriate, and then you remove them from the scene. Some people would then argue and say, well, then Triforce, that's what they did with you. No, they just made rumors about what I've done. No one has proven anything that I've done. You can't prove it because I didn't do it. And that's the problem. So what they'll do is they blacklist. Just like what's happening in the tournament organizers. Tournament organizers have been blacklisted. And people go, oh, no, they're not being blacklisted. Yeah, they've been blacklisted. But can't tell that to certain people. They've been blacklisted. So let me see something. Korean Tekken is obviously superior, but I think U.S. players like Anakin, Little Majin, and Jimmy J Tran aren't too far behind. This has nothing to do, MJG. This has nothing to do with their skill. I wasn't talking about their skill. I'm talking about the entire infrastructure for Tekken in esports. That's what I'm talking about. I don't care about who's good or who's bad. That's irrelevant, actually. Very irrelevant. Do you think the E-League is handling Street Fighter well? The TV show is so weak, no hype, little entertainment value. If anything, I think E-League is hurting it, making Street Fighter 5 look like a nerd thing. Your thoughts? Well, E-League doesn't understand the dynamic side to fighting games. They don't understand that they need to find key people to commentate. I don't know why Yipes has not been hired for the E-League. I don't understand this. There are people that you can hire that will bring that hype, but they won't work with these people because they don't James Chen it or Ultra David it. They want the fighting game scene is trying so much to be like MLG, like LCS when it comes to commentating those games, and they don't understand that each of these games have its own cultural aspect to it. The fighting games require hype. People who can provide you hype in their commentary without cursing. But to them, they
Also,
go.
aside from just the cultural side of it,
Mhm.
another reason that FGC just can never like have a structure like League of Legends or CS:GO or Dota 2 is that those games are games where, like, fine, CS:GO, it gets releases, right? CS:GO Global Offensive is a sequel to CS:GO Source, but
Yes.
CS:GO Global Offensive has been around for over like 6 years now, I think, or maybe it's 5 years. It's been around, and most fighting games don't stick around for that long, and the reason for that is like League of Legends. It's around for 9 years since its beta. It's because the game just gets patched and patched and patched. So if they create an infrastructure around this one game, yeah, the game will change with the patches, but you don't have to completely rebuild everything. With how the FGC and fighting games run, because there's a new installment every maybe 2 or 3 years or whatever,
Mhm.
or maybe four, depends on the franchise. Um, every time a new game comes out, depending on if it's good or bad, they just have to tear it down and rebuild everything because people are gonna leave, new people are gonna come. The game might be ass, the game might be good, right? Whereas with all the other games, the game more or less stays the same, unless like the company wants to do a big change to shake things up. But
Mhm.
it's really just balance changes, right? So because of the nature of how fighting games are, with new releases coming out, like being vastly different from each other, they just can't have this super established infrastructure of a league and then having a mid-season invitational and then having a world finals where the Chinese league and the Korean league and the Taiwanese league and the Turkish league and the European league and the NA league all get together to decide who's the best. That just can't happen ever. So
In the fighting game scene,
yeah.
that can't
Even
happen.
completely even like I agree with the attitude stuff,
Mhm.
but even disregarding the attitude just because of how the games are with a new one being released, it would not fit that format.
Well, the thing is, it's different in fighting games because fighting games never had patches. They're now trying to implement that because they want to try to make money off of it. It's fighting games should be made completed first, and it's dropped, and that's just the end of it. But they don't. They make the game so bad in the beginning that they have to make numerous amounts
Yeah,
of patches, and it's Mhm.
the thing is now that developers know that they can just patch shit out,
Mhm.
they get lazy and they
Yes.
just put something out and it's like, oh, if people complain, we'll
We'll
just
just
patch it
patch it.
out, right? But back in the days of like Street Fighter 2 or 3 or Marvel versus Capcom 2 and stuff, right? They needed to make sure that that game was as polished as possible because once it's out, that's it. Like if we spent 2 years working on this game and something's like screwed up about it, it's there forever. Like it's just ruined at that
You
point.
just have to
So
make a point 0.5 version of it, or just move on to the sequel. So
yeah,
they
and that's what Street Fighter 2 did. They had a lot of .2 or .5 or re-releases and stuff that changed the balancing.
DLCs with the new fighters where they got Fei Long, T Hawk, DJ and Cammy, and so forth and so forth. So, but that time doesn't exist anymore, and like I said, they need to franchise the teams, but the FGC will not franchise the teams. So there's nothing that can be done about it, to be very honest with you, and that's in my opinion, that's fine. In terms of the fighting game community being destroyed, I agree 100% with A Train. Can't kill the fighting game community. However, you can kill the people who are in charge of it now. That much you can do. That much will be done. Um, these guys are all pretty much cooked. So N Hernandez says, let's be honest, Triforce. Fighting games are meant to be ghetto. No, I can't agree with that. In a WWF Attitude Era type of way, E-League whitewashes washers the game and makes so John Cena visiting Mongoloids friendly. Do you co-sign that? Nah, I can't
Well,
co-sign that, me. I can't.
Trevor, to be fair, I think what he meant by ghetto is
Yeah.
just the kind of environment and the culture the scene grew up in, being really underground and stuff,
No,
and like being like
no, because it's not that way either. This whole concept about underground is just the way people look at things in terms of like the FGC. They have this thing about the FGC being this ghetto culture. Yes, we come from the underground. Yes, we play in the arcades, and you have Yipes talking about F the Knicks and Scoop Haagen-Dazs. Yes, all of those things, colorful banter and commentary for the games. And yes, because when you get scooped up and you get grabbed.
Like the FGC.
yeah, Haagen-Dazs is some expensive chocolate. I mean, ice cream.
Like the Asians, the blacks, the Mexicans, the whites, and they're all coming together. They're from all different backgrounds. It's not necessarily just all ghetto or all.
See,
all
and
anything.
I don't like that the concept of ghetto, because ghetto, when you say ghetto, it's almost as if you're alluding to this is where black people play. And it's got nothing. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying. I'm not saying you.
I mean, ghetto is not, in my opinion, synonymous with black people. There's white ghettos, there's black ghettos, there's Mexican ghettos.
But there are no ghettos when it comes to the FGC. This is okay. Let me show you something. In 2009, when EMP went to Evo, and we pretty much dominated Evo. There was even a 5-on-5 regional Street Fighter 4 competition, and Empire Katie as a team, we represent the Northeast. We won 19-1. We beat every other team and dominated Evo that year in the regional exhibition of the 5v5, etc., etc. Right? Someone Justin ended up getting second in Street Fighter 4. Sanford beat Justin in the grand finals of Marvel's Capcom 3. Justin and Issei won Street Fighter 3. The team battles and everything. That was a very good year for EMP. 2009. We did some justice at Evo, right? People then came out and put out this picture and says, Professional StarCraft League, and it showed you all these StarCraft players, these Asian guys looking like rock stars with their hair all what's the word for the stylish and whatever, and they had some women, Asian women as cheerleaders and stuff like that. And then it said Ghetto FGC, and they cropped out a picture of EMP with a bunch of our players, which was majority black. They didn't even have Justin in the picture, right? And they put they superimposed a brick background with graffiti on it.
Why?
What do you mean why? To set the image and the precedence that this is what
obviously, but why the fuck would they do that?
Oh, because they.
Why not?
Why not? That's fucked up, bro. That's fucking weird. One, it's like, yeah,
White
why do you have so
supremacy.
much time on your hands? Or two, like, I don't know. That's fucked up.
The point is to set the narrative that they wanted to get the narrative that this is how ghetto the FGC is, and for people not to get involved in it, because that's what they want people to see. It's all about a narrative. So that's why I don't subscribe to that whole concept of the ghetto nothing. There's nothing ghetto about the FGC. The FGC has colorful commentary, banter, and experiences that are simply different from the other scenes. Do we call the WWE ghetto when making comparisons to sports? No. We call it sports entertainment. Well, eSports is, well, our late friend Remix would say he is the most electrifying gamer in digital sports entertainment. That line is so godlike, though. Damn, I miss Remix, yo. That line is so godlike. He literally wanted to model himself after The Rock. He literally says, I am the most electrifying gamer in digital sports entertainment. Which is literally what esports actually is. So, do we sit here and call fighting games ghetto? I can't subscribe to that. I'm sorry, I just can't. Fighting games with the right leadership can be just as big as the LCS. That's just me. I believe it. Unfortunately, the fighting game community and the industry has different agendas in where people are looking to control it all, and they're not working with each other, unfortunately. That's why when you see stuff like E-League and GSN that came out and all these other companies, these things look boring, because we all know that is not what fighting games are. And that's what keeps Evo in power. What keeps Evo in power is that Evo will never betray its community image. At Evo, it is madness at Evo. People, that's why so many people attend. Look at Evo's World Championship versus Capcom Cup. Everyone in Capcom Cup, or everyone quiet down. Everyone has to, they want people to be excited but stay in their seat. What? How is that possible? That's not possible. Who goes to a boxing match and stays in their seat when your favorite boxer is winning? Who goes to an MMA match, watches an MMA fight, and they stay in their seat clapping? No one does that. You need people to jump up and go crazy. And Eve, this is what keeps Evo in power. Okay, E-League turns FGC into golf. True statement. No one cares about golf. True, sort of true statement. No one cares about golf in comparison to the other sports. Wanted to put that the whole thing out there. Everything tunes in to see what's going on in the hood. Fighting games need to be ghetto. I don't think fighting games need to be ghetto. I just think fighting games need to be. There's enough seasoned veterans out there who can commentate. Guys like Chris Matrix, guys like Lee Chung, guys like IFC Yipes, people like Persia, right? There are people out there that can commentate colorful commentary and make it, worth people's time to watch without and remain professional. No cursing, no nothing. And those people, with the exception of Yipes and Persia, are not giving chances. This is exactly what is happening to Overwatch League. Complex Boxhead. I believe you. I definitely believe you. All right, guys. We're going to spend 15 more minutes. We were supposed to end the stream in 2 hours. I'm going the hour and a half overtime to talk about the FGC. I'm going to leave you guys in the Discord and people in. Thank you. You reminded me. D1 is a great commentator. I'm putting this out there right now. Shout outs to D1. Nintendo, you better not drop D1. D1 deserves that job for the Smash Brothers Invitationals for 2018 and the Smash Brothers World Championships when you do it, because D1 is a prime example of a colorful commentator who can keep it hype and professional at the same time. My man's commentary for... Has anyone seen the commentary for the Smash Brothers Invitational in 2014? And when Mega Man, he's like, who's going to get the Powerball? Who's going to get the Powerball? Mega Man! Yo, he's stupid. But he hyped up that crowd so much, it was ridiculous. That's why D1's in the position that he's in. He's a prime example. And they need to hire more commentaries like that. Like, the sad part is they hire too many suit and tie commentaries. And people don't... This is video games, man. It's video games.
Can I ask you a question, Trevor?
Sure.
Finish your thing with D1 actually first. My bad.
We need more people like D1. We need more people like IFC Yipes. We need more people like Lee Chung. We need more colorful commentaries. This is what hypes the games up. This is what put people in their seats to watch outside of the gamers. People want to, while they're watching their favorite gamers play, while they're watching the hype and the madness, that there is a commentator that's translating that same hype and madness, physical experience, into verbal hype and madness. Yeah. And if you can't find a commentator to do that, commentator sucks. Yeah. Word to everything. Your commentator sucks. People go like, oh, there go Triforce once again. I'm keeping it 100 gabillion. Everyone knows this in the FGC. That's what it is. Yeah.
To be fair, and you're right, but there has to be also a good balance between hype and then knowledgeable input, right? Like
that's why it is always smarts to mix the textbook commentator and then the hype guy. There always has to be the
Yeah.
hype guy. It's called you gotta put the colorful along with the stat
The
guy or whatever.
the term is the color caster is the knowledgeable guy,
Hmm.
and then the play-by-play caster is the hype man.
Okay, but they don't do a good job with that. The WWE does it. The WWE used to have Jim Ross and then one other guy with him. And Jim Ross, he'd be the guy that, like, so you have the guy, okay, he got him in a headlock, whip to the Irish blower. But then Jim Ross would be like, oh my God, Styler, oh my God, Austin's going crazy. And you'd be like, it's really not that hype, but Jim Ross be hyping it up, B. He's like, Jim Ross be hyping it. You get into
It's like he's like the kind of guy who can make a golf match seem exciting.
Yes, I can see Jim Ross making a golf match exciting. You would watch him, and these scenes don't take their commentary. They don't get their commentary. They don't make the commentary. The problem is that they, in my opinion, they hire these corny suit and tie commentators. This is just real rap. Like, these commentators boring. I don't want to watch the match.
No, a lot of times they just get their job because of connections. They don't actually know what they're doing.
This is true. Hold on, we got some comments in here.
And that actually is true with literally every industry.
That's lewd.
But whenever there's somebody who has a job of authority and they don't really know what they're doing, I wouldn't say 90, but like the majority of the time, I would say they just have connections, so they just get a job that they shouldn't have.
This is true. So look, we need it all. You get more watchers from trash talkers talking up a big one versus smart, quiet people. America won't tune in to watch two foreign people win at anything. This is a true. Say what you want to say about that comment. That is a true comment. America wants hype, man. We don't care. No Euro Cup. We want loud Americans. I don't know about all that, but I get the point you're trying to make. Jim Ross would be the respected knowledge, and Jerry King Lawler would be the ghetto commentary. King would always say puppies, which is true. He does say puppies. Hey, Triforce, I just sent you the code. Yes!
So Triforce, I wanted to ask you a question before we end the stream, right? About the Smash Bros. Invitational.
Guys, we got the Kirby code!
Yeah. So Kirby stream tomorrow? Kirby stream tomorrow?
It would have to be on the weekend. It would have to be on the weekend. I have other stuff I gotta do.
T-Belly.
Big shout outs to T-Belly. He got us Kirby for the Switch. So yeah, we are definitely in there. Oh, thank you, thank you, T-Belly. Really appreciate that.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you for the Smash Bros. Invitational, a couple of things. So Nintendo is just going to give out invitations to whoever they want to attend, right? There's not going to be any qualifier.
I doubt it. I think it'll be just like the first Smash Brothers. Nintendo picks the people that they want to be there.
Okay, they pick the people.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously they're gonna get a lot of the big Smash 4 heads there, right? They might even send an invitation to Zero. To be honest,
Zero should go back because he won the first one.
To be honest, I'm still under the impression that the only reason Zero quote unquote retired is because he knew that a new Smash was coming up. So as soon as it came, he could say, guys, I'm coming out of retirement just to build up hype. Personally, I think that's it. He just wanted a break, and he was like, you know what? I can just build up hype this way. I'll leave for a bit and say I'm done forever, and then I'll come back, and everybody will be watching me again.
Maybe.
But anyway, aside from that, do you think that Nintendo would send invitations to some of the Melee guys and see because if one or two like well-known Melee players, I'm not saying necessarily the 5 or 6 gods, but like if they get like Wizrobe and Axe there, right? Like still top 10 players or maybe top 15, but not necessarily like the cream of the crop, and they start getting into the new Smash 5. Do you think that could bring fans over from the from Melee into 5 if they see some of those guys?
That would be a smart
move. This invitational.
That would be a smart move for Nintendo to make. But I will say this: despite there being former players of EMP, here are the Armada and Mewtwo King needs to be invited to this because they were not invited to the first Smash Invitational. And now, in my opinion, it was unfair. The other gods, they got their shine. But Armada, Mewtwo King, Leffen should be invited to this new Smash. That's Triforce's personal opinion. Zero should make a return as he was the Smash for, what's the word for this? Invitational champion.
Yeah.
Hungry Box because he's the best player in the world. So I think those 5 should definitely be there.
Aside from those, I think they should also invite Hacks Money and Axe. That's pretty much it. Hacks Money and Axe are pretty much the only ones.
Well, I don't think Hungry Box is gonna get picked because of
Yeah, Hungry Box says some questionable shit.
He has said he did some questionable stuff against Nintendo, and if he doesn't get invited, he has to understand that that's the bet he made. But it's whatever. I don't think he cares. He would care, but that's me, just my opinion on it. But whatever the case may be. But yeah. All right, so we have 5 more minutes. I'm gonna end the stream. We actually went over time on the stream and whatnot, and so let's see. Definitely not Hungry Box. He curses too much for them. It is though T-Belly. Add me on Epic Games and your PSN Dwight Potter. Got you. Oh wow, sorry for that big lag in the stream, guys. I just saw that myself. It just dropped hard. So any other closing comments from everyone? I'm gonna leave you guys to close out the stream.
Nothing else aside from praise Satan, our Lord and Savior.
Anyway, so this is the stupid.
You must resist. T-Belly again for
yes.
Kirby.
I guess I'll have to close it. I want to, like Dwight said, I want to thank T-Belly for the donation of Kirby All Stars, or well, it's not Kirby All Stars. I think Kirby for the Nintendo Switch, right? I also want to thank Mist. I also want to thank Baraka Play. And everybody else who has made donations to the channel to get us back on point. EMP's making our moves. Please, if you're new to our channel, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be making a lot of great content, that interactable content, and some content that we just can't upload to YouTube, right?
On Hashtag.
On Hashtag, due to YouTube's policies, because of music, because of a bunch of things. We just can't do it on YouTube. So a lot of the content will be on like follow-up content to streams, videos like me and my wife going to like party clubs and stuff like that, and bringing a Nintendo Switch there, and some of the questionable clothes that Jamaican women be wearing.
That guy.
Yeah. So those things would have to go on Hashtag. So if you look in the description, you're gonna see our Hashtag social media platform. Please sign up for it, friend me, and then join our Empire Arcadia group, as we're going to have a bunch of different content that's going to be coming out. So we hope you guys join us there. Also,
and just as you end the stream, Pauldron ends.
Oh, Pauldron's here?
Oh, okay. No, I was saying just as you end the stream, Pauldron and Zero lose the Fortnite game in 3rd place.
Oh man, that sucks.
Why even bring that up?
You'll love Kirby. It has the most epic finale in any Kirby game. Well, I think I'm going to love Kirby. I watched C&D play the game, so I've watched him myself. So I already know like how godlike Kirby is going to be. So I've already seen it myself. So I just wanted to, I think that's a game. It's a nice platform game me and my wife can play, and we can bring our other 2 friends over, and all of us will play it, and they can get into a nice platformer. I've seen the game myself. I've already come to the conclusion the game is godlike. I don't really care about what other people think. Well, Triforce games, I don't care what people. It's godlike to me. So I'm definitely playing it.
Well, you kind of got to play till you can say that, right? Like,
I just said C&D had the demo, and off stream I played
I thought
it.
you said you just saw it. Okay.
No, I watched him play it, and then I played it myself, and that's why I wanted it. So I'm glad that I have it. So but I want to thank everybody for supporting our channel. I think thanks for those who donated. Thanks for those who subscribed, and thanks for those who have joined our Hashtag page. Please support our sponsor Hashtag. They're actually working on trying to send me to E3. I know you guys are going to want me to go and cover E3, and if Hashtag can send me, then that would be great. And that's going to be due to our
You guys using Hashtiv.
That's going to be
the more you guys use Hashtiv, the higher chance Hashtiv will sponsor Triforce.
will sponsor me so that I can go to E3 and then get you guys the behind the scenes with my Nintendo Connects. So yeah, but outside of that, thank you guys for joining us for this part of the stream. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Pray Satan.
Wait, today is Friday, right? Okay, good. It's gonna be Satan. Oh my God, it's gonna be Friday. See, Sahil, you see what you just did?
What?
All right. Tomorrow's gonna be Friday.
Triforce, you know that Easter's falling on April.
Yes, I actually know that. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's falling on that day.
Fuck,
but
sign of the times.
Tomorrow's Friday. This weekend, I'm spending all of Saturday on Dragon Ball streaming. I'm going to stream 3 times on Saturday regarding Dragon Ball. We're going to be giving away some posters, Dragon Ball Super Finale posters, and stuff like that. So we got a bunch of things running on Hashtag. So I want you guys to join us and whatever. So, but on that note,
Fortnite giveaway too.
We have the Fortnite giveaway as well. In fact, we're going to talk about the Fortnite giveaway tomorrow, and we're also going to do some of the trading cards and cereal. Get the cereals and the trading cards and other prizes that we have for you guys out tomorrow. So stay tuned for tomorrow's stream. And on that note, guys, peace.
Peace.